Ladies and gentlemen, we are streaming live right now. This is the OK Show with Iceman for now. Rod Rodriguez will be joining us at 8:30. It's a Thursday. We're supposed to have a special guest tonight. I'm not sure if his brother would agree of him being special, or he could be special in a different, like, on that different light. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, this guy, I did not grow up with him. I saw him growing up, right? So he was kind of like a couple years younger than I am. A couple years? No. Well, yeah, he was a small boy. Then I hung out with his brother a lot. So yeah, I've kind of like seen him from his the good days, and now he's what, a financial expert. I don't know. Like we'll find out. We'll find out. He's in finance right now, and he's based in Manila, but his company is based in well, probably is it Switzerland? Switzerland, Swiss based. Yes, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Mister Minco Domingo Jr.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Can you hear me? All clear.
Yes, loud and clear, Minco. So you are Minco Jr., right? You are Minco Jr.
Yes, exactly.
All right,
But in Manila, they don't know I have a junior.
all right. Okay. He's the junior. He doesn't have a junior yet. All right. If you have a kid, would you name him Minko the third? Will that
Most
happen?
likely, yes, yes. That
All right.
that would definitely happen. Thanks for having me, Ice. I do want to emphasize that I feel so happy because I feel young in this show. In
Yeah,
other
because
shows,
I'm.
I'm always old. So
Yes, of course. I'm a couple years older. I'm 30. You're probably 28 right now, right?
25 to be exact.
Oh, that makes me 27. Holy shit. Anyway, all right. So we're gonna have Rod later, but now it's just you and me. So let's get right on to what you're supposed to talk about. It's the democratization of wealth. What does that mean? Because I know the meaning of wealth. Democracy, yes, of course. Democratization of wealth per se. I've heard this before, but I have no idea what that is per se.
So basically, the idea is to, I would like to explain it in a way like you are enabling the common to benefit from the global wealth. So basically, you're making the gates open for everyone. That's why we emphasize on democratizing or democratization of wealth. So it's really just sharing the opportunities. It's not about giving money. It's more
So
of
is
really
this
giving.
sort of a networking thing?
No,
Is this
no, no.
is it the same concept? Because no, I mean, people throw big words at you. Like for example,
Correct.
like all right, democratizing wealth or democratization of wealth. I mean, that's kind of like for me, it's like, oh, big words right there. And like you told me earlier, earlier in the month, that somebody told you like, what's in it for me? Like people would ask that, like, what's in it for me? Because they're always like, well, is this a networking business? What is this a new like a Ponzi scheme or whatever? I mean, like every time somebody talks about wealth and you being a part of it, they always have this wall, and they're always like on the defensive because they've heard this all before. But then what's the difference between this one and all these other things that came before? I mean, what exactly are you talking about? Is this about technology? Is this about I mean, this the wealth has to equate with the like, I mean, technologically speaking, is it like connected there? Is it like, do you have a product, or I mean, what's going on here?
So basically, just to take a step back, democratizing is basically making it accessible to everyone. You know, let's take out wealth. Let's take wealth out first from the sentence. Basically, democratizing, we kind of like, if you are going to access, let's say, music before, you had to go to the records, right, to the record store. But right now, you just go onto Spotify. In a sense, you have immediate access to music. So in a way, you are correct that with technology, we're actually advancing ourselves in making sure that wealth in general is accessible or will be accessible to a lot more people compared to before. Because before it was always like, from a professional point of view, when you say democratizing wealth, before it was always the rich gets richer, right? Because if you have a lot of money, then you can invest a lot of money because the opportunity is in front of you. But in the past 10, 20 years, because of the advancement of technology, we now have the different options actually to have, the access to opportunities to broaden our wealth. So the statement or the saying democratization of wealth, it's not an organization, it's not a company, it's
It's a
really just an
concept.
yes, exactly. It's a mindset. It's something that I live by. It's an advocacy for me and actually for where I
All
work
right. So
from.
you mentioned options earlier. Like, okay, let's say for example me. What are my options?
Well, I have to know how much your net worth is. So you have so you have to tell me.
Ah, spoken like a true con man right there. How
Exactly.
much money do you have? Do you have
Then
millions? Do you have
I can
billions?
multiply it. No, no. Maybe the beauty of nowadays, it's really if you want to invest, you can even access investments on your phone. That's really the beauty of it. But I really have to emphasize, before investing, you have to know what you're investing on, what it is about, what's gonna happen. Investing is not always up. It's not always
And it's like a
times.
gamble, right? It's like going to the casino. You gamble. You might make money. You might lose money. That's how it is, right?
I wouldn't
Is
really
it?
directly equate it to gambling, but at a certain point, yes, you can put it that way. But we have
Hmm.
what we call different trading strategies, for example, for investments or trading. So there are quite a lot of disciplines out there. That is what is very important, really. Understanding what you want to invest in, understanding basically what your end game is. Why are you saving money? Why are you investing?
All right. Oh, cool. Cool. Okay. So let's say, for example, somebody is interested. I mean, how much money does does an individual need to like start investing? Let's just say, like, all right, okay, like, give me a ballpark figure. I mean, I know you have to ask, like, oh, how much money do you have, or like, how much are you willing to invest? But let's say, for example, like, like people are like looking or listening and watching right now. I mean, can you give them a ballpark? Like, what's a safe amount, or safe amount to start investing on stuff or on things?
Actually, maybe before we go to the ballpark amount, we have to see first what are our options. So in investing, there's really a lot. There's bonds, there's stocks. Now we have cryptocurrency. We all know what time deposit is. It is a form of investment, right? So if you understand what you want to invest in, then you can understand how much you are willing. So the minimum
Right.
amount, let's say for example for stock trading, actually in the Philippines you can open an account already as low as I think 3,000 or 5,000 pesos.
Right.
Then you can start trading. So that's the
3,000
minimum
trading.
amount.
Right. So
But
you just pick any like company you want to buy stocks from. Is that what it is? It's like, all
exactly.
right, I'll just buy this stock from whatever, and this stock here, put
But
my chips on here.
like what I said, I have to really underline the fact that you have to do your research. You have to understand what company you're investing in because who knows, right? They might go bankrupt. You have to understand the industry. And that's where I really love about finance because you really have to do research. You have to understand a lot of things.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, let's see. Okay. So, how about insurance? Is that part of it? Like investing in insurance? Like you get those, like endowment type insurance. Is that part of investing? Is that like a sort of investing?
Now they have actually coupled it together. So that's the beauty. Because we
Right.
now have, this mutual funds, this VULs,
Right. So
basically
that's
have
that's a
the
sort of
health.
investment, right?
Correct. So you have the health part, which covers your health issues, your health challenges, your health insurance, and then you also have the investments, which it actually attracts more people to do investments because, in a way, it's not just about health, but also you realize you gain or you earn from your investments.
Right. So, okay. So, all right. So somebody's interested. Right. So they, like do the research but, well, a lot of people are hesitant, especially for those people who are not tech savvy. You know what I'm saying? Like there are a lot of people out there who has phones, right? They have computers. You might think they're tech savvy, but no, they just go on Facebook, they just go on Twitter. That's what they do all day. They just go on the internet, watch
Yeah,
porn,
yeah,
whatever, or like research things. That's what they do. Like they don't know
yeah.
anything. I mean, I know what you're doing. I mean, you're like you're in the finance industry, so you know how these things work. Like you go on your phone, you look at forex, and like you would understand that. Like any website that talks about money, and you see graphs and whatever, those lines
Yeah,
going up, those lines going down, the Dow Jones, whatever, Nikkei, blah blah blah.
yeah.
But the common people wouldn't understand this. Like, what the heck is this? I just see lines and curves. I don't really know what this is. So, I mean, when you say research, I mean, can a normal person like me who doesn't know? I mean, I majored in marketing, right? So it's still like sort of in finance, but dude, I'm like, I have no idea. When I look at those graphs, I have freaking no idea what's going on there. So, I mean, would that be advisable to just like, all right, I'll just invest in these things, like just, or do you need somebody to do that for you?
There's okay. So to answer your question, there are two ways that you can actually do it. You can do it on your own, and then you also have this what we call relationship managers. So they're the ones in the bank. You approach them, hey, I want to buy like stocks. Can you manage my account? But the thing is, for those accounts with relationship managers, they're quite in the rich scale.
Right.
You have
I
to
mean,
have
if
a
they look
really
at
substantial.
you and yeah, if you don't have like these big deposits in their banks, they're probably like, you know what?
Yeah,
Like,
no, yeah.
I'll get back to you. All right, I'll get back to you on that. Like,
Yeah,
kind of
or
busy here
get
with
the
like
number, get the
millions.
number,
Oh
get in
yeah,
line,
yeah, get a
something
number,
like that.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
But if
yeah.
they see you have like billions or millions in the bank, they'd be like, "Oh, hey, sir, you want to sit down and have some coffee and let's talk about investments, right?" So, all
Yeah.
right. So if I'm not in that bracket, I'm not in the millionaires bracket. So how would I go about it? Like just
But
do it
let
on
me
my
just
own?
yeah, let me just clarify the first scenario with relationship managers. So not to antagonize the banks, not because they're trying to discriminate the people who are
They're
just
already
wearing short.
antagonized, man. A lot of people hate them.
Let me try to fix it. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
See,
Okay,
that's the
try to
thing.
fix it. See if you can fix it. All right, let's do it. All right,
with
try to
with
fix it.
with
Come on.
with investment, the key really is how much you're willing to buy, how much volume you're willing to take in. And if you need a really high volume, then you need to have a lot of money. And if you're going through the bank, they have their operational expenses, right? Where
Right,
will they take the salary of your relationship manager? For sure in your account. That's why they have high
right, right.
fees. That's why they need a high, starting balance and all of
Yeah, they
this.
have so
So
much. Yeah, they have so much going on. They have high fees, not just from you, but from other investors as well. Then all of a sudden, if your company goes bankrupt, boom, they're still in the safe, right? They're still in the. I mean, they're not losing money. They lost your money, and they just like, oh, wow, they went bankrupt. Sorry, sir. Right? I mean, how
yes.
can you trust these people? Come on.
But that's the thing, because if you're not satisfied with them, you can completely get out of their services. And if you pull out your amount, your account, then they have less money. So
All
they
right.
have to really take care of you.
So how do they
So
make money? Is it like is it percentage from your investments, or is it like are they paid by the bank that they work for, or like how does these things work?
yeah, so there's like a fund management fee. It's a base fee that you have to pay, and then there's also the performance fees. That if you maintain a certain gain of your portfolio, they will of course bring out bonuses to your relationship managers.
Holy crap, that's a lot of money for them.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's
less money for
but
you.
that's the thing, because if you don't have enough time to do the trade for yourself, then you just
Right,
give the
right.
money to them. So basically the important thing there is you have more time to I don't know, maybe go eat in ramen, for example, and not stare on the screen and look at the charts, right? That's the thing, they're taking away the stress from you in a sense. And they have
Right.
to perform well, because if your portfolio goes down, then you can always pull out.
Wow. Pull out. All right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
also like what you mentioned, just a quick one, what you mentioned a while ago, I have to emphasize there's a difference between tech savvy and financially savvy. It doesn't mean you're tech savvy, it's automatically finance. It's totally two different things.
All
But
right. So
they're intercoupled together that you can learn also and understand the tech side of the finance. And that's where we are, the fintech space.
I know. I mean, with finance people, they know how to, sweet talk into like these things. That's, I'm a marketing guy, right? I'm not a finance guy. I'm not, I've never worked for a bank. I worked for a pharmaceutical, and my main job was to market stuff. And like we sweet talk clients into like prescribing stuff, and like we sweet talk pharmacies to like get more stuff and give them deals and whatnot. So that's basically like a different aspect of finance there. But then with banking and all these investments and whatnot, there are percentages, and so it seems like, just for example, I have a million. Just okay, if you're my relationship, what do you call
Manager.
them?
RM.
Relationship
Yeah.
all right. Like, why the heck would
The- you need
relationship
to,
manager?
yeah, emphasis on the
Dude,
relationship.
see, that's why I don't trust these people. They're changing the names. Why would you call it relationship managers? It's not a relationship. It's all about money, dude. It's all
But
about money. It's not relationship.
that's the thing
You watch
nowadays.
Jerry Maguire, yeah, right? The personal relationship, that's bull crap. You're taking my money right here. It's
But
not real, no relationship.
I mean,
You're
our
looking at me
economy, yeah, I mean, our
like this.
economy right now is built on relationships. Social media, that's
Yeah, so they
relationship.
say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you are known for relationships, right? I know you from relationships.
Yeah, because I actually talk about relationships, people having relationships, how to break them, how to mend them. That's, yeah, but when you say, oh, I'm a relationship manager. Oh, really? You give advice to those, heartaches and those, like, marriages broken up. Like, are you try to fix those? Like, no, I take your money and put them in investments. So, see, you can't blame people if they don't trust relationship managers, because from the name alone, relationship managers. Why why not stick with, I'm your financial manager, or I'm like your financial what like financial
Bank,
analyst or
yeah,
whatever, yeah,
yeah,
or
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
your bank guy. Why would you call it relationship manager?
Because really the emphasis is on the client relationship. As we all know, the bank has been antagonized, right? So they want to build that relationship. That's
They want to
that's
con more
the
people. They want to con more people
no,
into,
no.
I know. I'm just saying, like, it's just a question, like, why relationship matters? I was like really, taken aback when you said relationship matters. I was like, oh, I was expecting more of like, those, like banking terms. But then, all right, relationship managers. All right. So, are you a relationship manager?
No, I'm not. I'm
All
not
right.
into banking. I'm into the IT of banking. So we provide the solutions, basically, the
All
software.
right, right. So you do this on your free time. It's like sort of a hobby, and you look at these things. You do some research as well, and you learn as you go along. And but
Exactly. Yeah.
okay,
And I make my own
I
investments. I learn from it. So yeah.
right. Right. So, okay, here's a question, because you're not from that industry, and you've been defending them, like, oh, okay, not to
I'm not the
antagonize them.
banker. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you're not a banker, right? And you try to defend them, but I mean, um, do you trust them? Like, would you trust a relationship manager fully? It's just a question. Like, would you or would you not? Like, yeah, depends on the context, right? Like, it depends on the context, but would you trust a relationship manager?
Definitely. Because if my money is in there, then I should really trust this person.
All right, dude, Rod.
Hey,
Yeah.
Rod.
Hey,
You
Mingo.
know,
You
yeah,
you know, you
we were
notice
just like,
when he said the words "trust this person," I showed up. Did you catch that? Trust this person. Boom, I show up. Right.
trust this
But
guy.
yeah, when he was questioning trust, he was showing you.
Yeah, because he
I'm
uses
kidding. I'm
trust.
kidding. Of
He
course.
uses trust a lot. Back in the day, he uses
Panther,
trust.
dudes,
Panther.
dude, dude, save money. You're all about like saving money, right, and all that. So Panther, save the extra.
Okay,
Save the extra.
we were just talking, man, and um, he mentioned earlier that the bankers nowadays who are in charge of your investments and whatever, they're
Yeah.
called, wait for it,
Thieves.
relationship managers. No,
Okay. Okay. All right.
relationship managers. That's why I was like, see, that's why you can't trust these people. because from that name alone, relationship managers. What the heck? You're in banking. You're managing money. Why use the term relationship managers?
Dude, that's like that's like us. We used to be called like radio DJs, broadcasters. Now we're on
Right.
air personalities, right?
It's the
I
same
mean,
thing. It's an on-air personality. It is the same
yeah,
thing. But when
and
you feel
they're
like
trying. No, no,
relationship
no.
managers,
They're trying to
are
humanize
we
these
not okay? Okay,
people. You
all right, okay.
know, they're trying to
Are we
humanize.
not?
They're trying to
Are
get.
we not? Okay. Are we not on air? Are we not on air when we were in
Yes,
radio?
we are. Yes, we
All
are.
right. Are we not personalities?
Yes, we are.
See? All right. Okay. Next question. These bankers who are in charge of your investments. All right.
Uh
Are
huh.
they advising you on relationship stuff?
No, of course
You
not.
know, of course
Right?
not.
So that's
But
what
But
I'm
if
saying.
you build that really personal relationship, maybe who knows? I
I
cannot
agree.
say.
See, exactly.
But I can see the angle.
They have
Minko,
to
you know
have,
what? I can see the
dude.
angle.
They have to have a title, dude. They have to have a title. Relationship is like it makes it more intimate. It makes them like
No, no,
more
no.
trustworthy of your hard-earned money. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not just like a guy. Like
Come to think of
even an
it,
agent doesn't sound right anymore.
I see the angle now. I see the angle. They're relationship managers because they can manage your investments. And if they grow and you have more money, your relationships are going to grow too. You're going to have a good relationship with your wife. You can afford three mistresses, four or five
Exactly.
mistresses, right?
Exactly.
If
I'm
they
not.
lose their money,
And they'll and
I'm
they'll
not
manage it for you,
advocating that.
is
dude.
that the
Okay.
angle, Minko? Is that the angle that we're looking at here?
No, I'm not advocating mistresses. Okay, just to clarify on things.
Dude,
Um,
Minko, just to clarify also, you don't have to advocate anything, all right? We can manage on our own.
well, I know
We can
that
deal
for
with
a
that
fact.
stuff on our own. I'm kidding. But I mean, what I'm saying here is like we get why they're called that or whatever the title may be, you know, like even those selling insurance and all that stuff, you know, they're not just like insurance agents or whatever, because that creates a gap, you know. There's a stigma, so to speak, about these people just like after your money, and they're like they kind of want to, even if you watch like commercials now, you know, they try to do like what you mentioned, the word relationship. You kind of want to have, they're trying to establish a relationship with you even if you don't have a relationship, or even when you're still not in a relationship with these people, because and I think it's part of the training too. I think it happens behind the scenes where, okay, you people, you have to know the family of your clients, you have to know
Yeah,
their background, you have to know their
even
interests, you have to
the hobbies, interests. They can throw in let's say a getaway for two for you just because
yeah,
you're
Right.
in
If
your
you have
relationship.
millions in their banks, they're gonna
Exactly.
do that.
I mean, at the end
yeah.
of the day, if they manage your finance, let's say 1 million, and then you get 10% after 1 year, isn't that nice? You give 2% to them, then you get 8%. Still okay, right? If you have 1 million in your closet, will it grow? No, it's going down because of inflation.
I
So
absolutely
that's
agree.
the
Right.
thing.
I agree.
That's
So
the
you're
I
thing.
telling
agree to
people
that
that
point.
if they have a million, they're better off if they invest it, like give it to a relationship manager.
If they don't want to, do all the research on their own, trade, then
All
go
right.
for a
Okay.
relationship manager.
Okay. Humor me. Just humor me. Give me one. Because you told me about options and whatnot. There's like lots of options. All right. So let's say I have a million now. All right. I have a million. All right. Hey, Minko, you've been
What
doing
am I
this
going to
quite
do
a
with
while,
this?
right? Right. What am I
Yeah.
gonna do with this? Point me to the direction. Point me to a company or whatever. Like, what am I gonna do with it? Like, which one?
You can always go to a bank. Our banks in the Philippines, like
Are you sure you're not
BPI,
working for the
BDO,
banks?
no, definitely not.
Are you
No,
not? You're probably spokesperson of these banks. All right.
no way.
You'd be
No,
like, no,
no.
I'm not from the banking industry, but I will defend them. Like, you can
No,
go to the bank.
I just wanted to make it clear that we don't have to always antagonize them, because if you actually know the system, you will actually gain from the system. But
Right.
imagine, like for example, the credit card, in a way, it's there's flexibility. But if you don't pay on time, of course the interest racks up. Of course the sheriff will come to your house. I mean, that was in the 90s, right? But that's why you have to know the system for you to take advantage of it. The same thing with investments, not just with banks. you
All
know
right. Okay. Let's read something from Erica. Do you know Erica personally?
oh yeah,
All right.
good friend of mine who works for a
Yeah.
senator, so we have to be very nice.
Okay. I wonder which one. I wonder which one. Anyway, I learned stock trading on my own. This is what she said. Slowly, it was not a success in the beginning and start, but that's where you learn. keep reading, be aware of current
Exactly.
events. All
Exactly.
right. So
Th-
I'm so how
That's
many
a
Erica, how many millions have you invested in like stocks right now? Like just curious. All right.
Guys, have you
Um
invested? Have you invested any of these things? First off, I mean, like,
no, we
what's
were talking
holding you
that's why
back? If you what's holding you back if you haven't,
I told him
and
like no
what motivated you if you did?
okay, I
What
don't have
encouraged you
any
if you did?
investments in terms of like putting my money on stocks and whatever, right? But I have, like I said, I have investments on like I have two policies for like endowment type insurance. I have two of those. My wife has two of those, so that's the sort of investment that I have right now. But I don't have investment in terms of like doing these things like cryptocurrency or investing on stocks and bonds. So I don't have that. Just those the insurance, the mutual fund that I have. That's what I have right
Okay,
now.
well,
Only
the
that.
best case scenario, the best case scenario with the mutual fund or investment or whatever it is that you have in going on right now, years down the line, the best case scenario of the reward that you will reap, uh, what will you be able to enjoy with that? Like, is it going to be worth a vacation? Are you going to be able to purchase a home? Is it going to be enough to
No,
kind
no.
of,
I mean,
support you
no,
financially in your
no, no, no,
retirement?
no, no, no,
I mean, how
no.
much money are we talking about here? Because I mean, if you say
No, it's
investment,
not. No, mainly,
um,
it's more my concern
or
with that
just the
investment
money
is
you put in with a little bit at the end,
no. It's
is that what it is? Like,
my purpose for this was to have like insurance, and at the same time, it becomes also like a sort of retirement fund. So the reason why I have
okay.
two now, it's because it's a sort of college fund for my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So like one is for my insurance and like a bit of something until I like I'm whatever and probably can get back some of those money when I'm retired. So that's why it's like I have two policies. One
So
policy that's for the college fund. The
the,
other
the
one is like
policy you got,
for
these are like
health. But I'm like
this is
both
like a
insured
fixed
with
thing,
these two
right?
policies. Yeah, it is a fixed
Yeah,
thing. So I'm
it's a
both
fixed thing.
insured. So if I die, then I get like there's two policies. So my daughter's saved with I mean for college and stuff. But
Yeah,
then if nothing
my
happens
wifey
to us,
has that. My wifey has that same thing, and I kind of have that same thing. But there's also this thing where I put in a little bit where it's sort of like a risk, and you're given like three types of
yeah.
investments. There's one that's very low risk, but it's low
Yeah.
return, and there's the Chinese tycoon fund thing where it's high risk, but you kind of have to wait it out. You know what I'm saying? But that's
see
where you kind
gambling.
of
That's
like
what I said to Minko. It's
No,
no
gambling.
no
High risk, high
no.
return.
no, but it's more of like and I just like I took a dive because like during that time, that's like I don't think there's gonna be another point in my life where I'm gonna have that kind of money to invest or risk in something like that. So I'm like, okay, it's not something that will like it's not a risk where it's gonna jeopardize my future or our finances or it's like our entire savings or whatever. It's not. It's I wouldn't say it's expendable income because it's still something that's substantial and still something I could buy with something else. But going back to that was probably around 5 years ago, and then I checked up on it. I checked up on it, and then it's not really going up. I'm losing a little bit. I'm losing a little bit. And then I spoke to the relationship what do you call
Manager.
him?
Manager. The
Manager, all right, the
relationship
relationship
manager.
Yeah.
Did
manager.
you tell him that your
But she wasn't.
relationship is slowly
Yeah,
crumbling
yeah.
down?
But
Like, hey,
but
dude,
she
my
wasn't.
relationship at
She
home is crumbling down. What's the deal,
she
man?
wasn't the one I started a relationship with though. The one I started a relationship with. I don't know what her number is,
Oh,
where
it's a
she is, or who she's
she.
connected with. So,
It's a
so it's a
she. No
different one
wonder
now.
she. No wonder he invested. It's a she. Anyway,
Of course, man. They
yeah,
just
why would I
they
invest
seem
in
more
a he?
credible. They seem more credible because they don't have mistresses. You know what I'm saying? They put their money into real things. But not kidding aside, it's like so I spoke to her and she gave me this kind of breakdown of what's going on, what's the best thing to do, and I'm like, okay, so the money went that really down, and then I think it happened last year or like at the peak of COVID, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, if I pull my money out, like what's the situation? She's like, okay, wait, back up a little. So if you're gonna pull out, it's a loss, but it's not that much. But you can wait it out, and the market's gonna rise again. Everything's gonna be good again. Or if you can't wait, you can pull it out now. Well, you can. It's not such a big loss as if you had pulled it out last year and put it in dollars because like a dollar thing, the dollar market is like more stable and blah blah blah. And I was thinking, okay, I was thinking about pulling it out. I like doing the dollar thing. Now I want to hear Minko's take on that. I mean, is that a wise thing, or should I wait it out, or what's
So
your
so
outlook for this COVID situation? Should
yeah, so you're talking about the funds, right? So let me break it down
yeah,
first for everyone who's listening. So when you invest on, let's say, a generic, what's happening in the market nowadays is there's insurance and they say you have a mutual fund. So if you open this fund, let's focus on this investment instrument, which is the mutual fund. If you actually ask for what's inside that fund, they will break it down. So some may be portions of stocks. So you will see different companies there. Some may be bonds. So it's really a mixture of different investment types. The reason why they package this is to further mitigate the risks. So because if you only have one company, imagine PAL right now, who is filing bankruptcy, right? If you have all
Yeah.
your money on PAL, then it's really
You're going
danger
down.
currently. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
going back to your question, Rod, I would agree with what she said. Actually, right now we are in an economic crisis, but this is normal because of the COVID, because of the pandemic. Worldwide consumption, not only in Philippines, pretty sure also in Japan. There's really, there's the consumption really slowed down. Market is very slow, but eventually it will pick up. Like right now,
Okay.
if you look at the
Okay.
stock market of the Philippines, it's back to maybe around 6,000, 7,000 points. March of last year, it went down, I believe, to 5,000. So this points basically gives you an idea on how much the market is performing when it comes to the stocks.
It's like matirang matibay, right? It's like
Yes,
matirang matibay, you know,
exactly.
like
If you
that
can
term
have,
that they say where taas ang pisi, if you know that
yes,
term, that
exactly.
that
And
sign
that's
like
the thing
dapat
with
taas ang pisi.
investments. That's the thing with investments. You really have to be patient. If you really don't need the money now, then just wait it out. If it's in stock market, but if
Right.
it's in a different thing, like example, maybe cryptocurrency, then that's a different conversation that we have to have. So you
Okay,
really have
and
to
we're
understand.
gonna delve into that too, because the cryptocurrency thing, it's like it's grown since the first time that was mentioned to me. The first person who mentioned that to me was Mao, or Chuck from back in our radio days. Mao's always been this guy who like pays attention to this stuff, and like nobody could ever explain that to me in a language that I would really understand. And even the people themselves who like encourage me to invest in it, they can't really like
Play
even
money.
explain it themselves, right?
Play
What?
money.
Okay, that's
Play
putting it
money.
bluntly.
See,
I mean, yeah, everything is. I mean, when you think about it, everything is until you've exchanged it for something. It
exactly.
is. It's like
You
right.
want to
You're
take
not
that
guaranteed to
risk?
what you. I mean,
You want to
look.
do it?
Even no, I haven't, dude. But I mean, I don't even think. I think it's only a risk if you go into it not knowing what it's about. You
Correct.
know, if you know what it's about, it's still a risk, but it's an educated risk. I mean, it's the same thing with what I did with the Chinese tycoon thing. I mean, I could have just gone to the store and bought my wife a nice bag, or we could have just, saved it up for a Disney vacation or whatever. And that would have been the end of it. But now there's something that instead of worrying about it, it's sort of like testing the waters for me, because like you, my wife also put in that insurance thing, which is more stable, like that, like rather than just put it in savings thing, put it in that. So you have something for your kids. Plus, if anything happens to you, God forbid, your wife can get something out of it. So that's a safe thing. But the one where you risk it, like the Chinese tycoon fund thing that I kind of dipped my feet in, it's like, for me, I have not explored that side of like the market. And my aunt who's in the States has always been like, okay, invest in the money market. There's like whatever. And I thought at first my younger years, college years, I thought the money market was like time deposit. It's not.
It's just
deposit,
one
it's
of
just
them.
like,
One of them.
it's just,
One of them.
yeah, it's kind of right, because it
Yeah,
was the higher
yeah.
interest yield, right? But now it's like there's so many, and
Yes.
the more I talk to people about like investing and all that, the more confused I get. It's like the more confused. Why can't people just like explain it like in plain language that we understand? And even when I get the updates, like the mail-in thing, and I look at it, it's like I'm looking at a foreign, document. Like, okay, so I see numbers here. So the bottom line is, how much do I really have, and how much did I lose? You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, I don't need these things. I don't care where you put my money in,
words.
as long as
2 words. Budul budul. That's what it is.
See, that's what I. And
That's what it
Minco,
is.
this is
You
actually
confuse
this is the best like situation for you, because we're both kind of skeptics, like Ice and I, we're both
Yeah, I
like,
felt
if
that.
we give our money, we better get something back. We're that
Yeah.
kind of people. We're not like,
Yeah, exactly.
because you're younger, and you're probably closer to the millennials and the younger crowd than our generation, where we didn't have all these like money making opportunities or investments or whatever. Ours was like, ilagay mo sa banko, mag-save ka, whatever. And I always told my wife, like I talked to my wife, it's like the bank is like for people who don't trust themselves with their own money. Like you don't trust yourself with your own money.
Right.
You can't hold on to your
And I
money, so
bet,
you put it in
and I
the bank.
bet your wife said that she trusts herself with her money, right?
But not
That's what
you.
she said.
You know, my wife is old school. She has a ledger, dude. She writes. She's like my
Oh,
Lola. She
okay,
writes
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
down.
yeah,
She
yeah.
writes. She doesn't type it. She doesn't have an app. She doesn't have whatever.
No.
She writes
Hard
stuff down.
copy. Hard
Yeah.
copy, man.
She
It's
writes
the way to
stuff
go.
down,
Right.
and you know, even stuff
Screw
that
the
her like
environment. Screw the trees.
even the stuff
Fuck
that
him.
she gives to her relatives or money that you know
Right.
people borrow.
Yeah. So
Even,
let me break it down for you, Rod. So that's a very interesting remark when you said there's really a lot of things happening, right? There's so many opportunities
So
that
many.
you can invest on. There's so many. That's so true. That's the thing about democratizing wealth. You now have 1,000 of opportunities in front of you.
this is
Here's
my
a good
biggest
example.
expense, by the way. This is a big. This is under liability.
Yeah.
And
Something I don't
asset or
recommend. Something I don't
asset or
recommend.
liability. Say hi. Okay, go ahead. Continue, Minco. Sorry to interrupt.
So yeah, if we look at let's first base it on by generation. Our like Lola's parents, what is their investments? It's land. They always say you
Nothing.
need
Yes.
to
All right,
invest on
okay.
land, right?
Yes,
Then
yes,
if you
yes.
go now to your
Ah,
generation,
yeah. Speaking of which,
right?
yeah, Paulo Tapia
Yeah.
said it. Best
Exactly.
investment for me is
Paulo.
real estate.
Yeah.
All right.
So it really
Cool. You
depends
just
now.
mentioned it.
You know, so for the generation before it was land, and then came the next generation. We have now the funds, and now came the stocks, and now you have the crypto. So if you can actually notice, for you to invest in land, you have to have a good capital money, right? Maybe 100,000,
Yes.
maybe 500,000. And the
Yes.
return,
Right.
sure, it could be good return, but it takes like 10, 20 years, 30 years
I
for
agree.
you to have
I
it
agree.
increase. And the
I agree.
problem with land is it's hard to sell.
Mhm.
Can you go to the, let's say, yung kanto ngayon and just say, hey, I have a land. Do you want to sell? See, that's the thing with land investments. It's not
Yeah.
that very liquid. So that
That's
is
true.
one of the risks, right? Now we go to the funds and the stocks. In the old days, you would see in the movies like Wolf of Wall Street, pick up the phone, you call your broker, I want to invest in this, or they try to sell you the stocks. That's the old days. Now you have
Yeah, yeah.
online brokerage. So you can open an online account and then you can actually do the stock trading. And then basically your return, of course, depending on what your investment strategy is, it would really depend. So I can get 10-20% in maybe like 1 month or 2 months. But remember,
Mhm.
it boils down to how much capital you are willing to invest at first. Because even if you have 10%, but your capital is just 3,000, that's just how much, right?
Yeah.
Right. Let's say
So,
about $1,000. Right. They have
mhm.
$1,000.
I think
So
About 50, yeah.
I've seen one of the comments that was shown by Erica also, which was the risk appetite. So it depends on your
yeah.
risk appetite.
What's her risk
So
appetite? Because I was asking earlier, and she was
yeah,
like, "Oh, Minko knows." So what's her risk appetite?
no, she said Minko knows on how when you ask how much is she invest, how much
Right.
money she
Okay.
invested. Yeah, but her risk appetite, I know her. She's a bit risky actually. She has
Really?
go for
Really,
you
Erica?
know
You're a risk
But
taker.
you know what, Minco?
You're a risk taker.
My take on hey, be careful with Iceman when you mention risk. The thing with risk though, it's like I think it's also subjective or relative to the situation of the person taking the risk. Like, for
Right.
example, if Erica
You have a lot of money.
is
That's a lot of risk for you if you put down
yeah,
just a
and
few
it's not
millions
just about
there.
the money. It's about the
Right.
situation and the priorities of the person. Like if Erica's single and she's earning right now, right? And she's single.
Oh
She
yeah, she's
has
Single?
it's lesser
Definitely
risk for her.
single.
It's a
Single?
lesser risk
Ready
for
to
her.
mingle?
Like right? Because
Definitely.
it's a lesser risk for
Yeah.
her because she doesn't have kids to send to school. She doesn't need the
Right.
money to be liquid. She doesn't have, you know what I'm saying? She can move around. She can live in with her parents. If she ends up like, you know, her house, gets repoed or whatever. But if like, let's say a family man like myself, you know, I'm not taking this risk for myself only. I'm taking this risk for my
Exactly.
kids, for my
Yeah.
wife. So it's not just about the amount of money. Like we both could be risking $1 million, but my risk is probably bigger because there's a lot more at stake if this
Correct.
doesn't work out. You know what I'm saying? Like with
Yeah.
kids like you, that's why I get all these like young, dynamic, very energetic, and very optimistic like relationship managers, you know, walk up to me or start conversations, and I'm like, yeah, you have that enthusiasm because you don't really have that. You don't need diapers every day, or you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? It's like
Exactly.
you're fine. Like you cruise on your own. You could move to Paris any day of the week. Like that's something
That's
that you
why
can decide on. But look
when
at my
I am
kid. Like he literally I mean, he's got me under his fingertips. Look at him.
Yeah, that's why when I share my knowledge, so I do some trading class, I do some classes for that, like intro class for stock market trading. By the way, that's free. I don't ask for donation or whatsoever. That's why I tell them you have to understand your liquidity, how much you're willing to spend. We have seen like published articles about 20% savings, 30% emergency expenses, and this and that. For me, I don't have a hard number, but you really have to understand how much you're spending, and if you have enough amount to keep aside and to invest on, then that's a good thing. I'm not gonna tell you need to invest 90% of your money, like what you said, right? So it really depends on the lifestyle.
Just spend 85, not 90%. 85 would be fine, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
See, these things they say, like these bankers, that's how they get you. You don't have to invest 90%, invest 88%. They get you that way.
Actually, they will ask for your profile, like do you have a family, what's your lifestyle, this and that. Because if you then have $1 million, let's go back to your question. The safest, I would say, would be bonds. You buy bonds. Okay. It's kind of like it's defined as if a company wants to get money, they basically ask money from you. For example, in return, you have a certificate, what we call bonds. Okay. So they would say after 5 years,
ka ng papel. Bigyan mo sila ng pera, bibigyan ka ng papel.
It's a certified thing.
Dude, Ice, you've seen Die Hard, right? That's what they were after.
I know.
They were after bonds.
A bunch of papers.
They were after bonds. They were after bonds, right? They were not after money.
The papers. All right, Nico, I have the papers.
Yes.
How is that money for me? Like, right? So it's like sort of an illusion. All right, here's some papers. It says that you own this much of the company. But then you can't really like take it out anytime, right? I mean, can you like take it out anytime?
For bonds, there is prescribed years. There's a time like 3 years, 5 years. So after 3 years,
this is how they screw you.
But then I ask you, how about if you invest on land when you buy land? It's the same thing. If you don't like put up a business there, it's dead land.
It's a dead land.
Yeah, but
I agree.
You can run around it. You can put. You can bike around it.
You can use the paper to fan yourself, right?
You can
bike paper.
You can bring that. You can bring a special. You can bring a special girl there.
And I know.
Bring a special girl
over there
and reenact Tarzan X.
Right. Hang on. All right. Okay. We have a legitimate question here. Hindi sasaw. All right. The delete sasaw. All right. Good evening, everyone. I have a question. What are your thoughts? Hey, Patrick. Why are you so formal tonight? Good evening, everyone. I have a question. Come on, man.
He's wearing a suit. He's wearing a suit as he types this.
All right. What are your thoughts on the investment scheme on Gcash? Is this Globe Cash? Gcash?
Yes. So this pay wallet that they have, the Gcash, it has a G Invest feature in the wallet.
All right. So is my loose change at Gcash worth it to be put in that investment scheme? That's his question.
I mean, for me, it is by definition, I would say in general. But like what I said, with investments, for you really to enjoy, then you have to have a high capital at least. But if you start like, I have a loose change now, tomorrow, every day I have a loose change and I start investing it, then that's a good thing. But the key there is you started investing and then you get to understand what's happening with your money.
Well, okay, how do you make money from this like G thing, like G Invest or like Gcash, whatever?
You're actually buying, I think, funds there, stock? Mutual funds.
Right.
It's also
so
funds. It's online.
All right, so you keep on buying. Yes. Like what you sell, like you have loose change every day and just keep on buying. That will just like add up and just like grow into something big.
Yes. Exactly.
So this is like sort of a percentage thing.
Before you know it, you can buy 300 peso worth of load. Congratulations, you reached your investment peak. You now have 300 pesos worth of load.
But the key there is you started.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. The key is you started.
Yeah. Right. And then you understand now.
I think that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part. Yeah. To start. Like even in playing basketball, right? We always say like, so good lang na lisod, simula lang yan. Pag naka 2 points na, tuloy-tuloy niyan. right?
I never felt that. Sorry, I'm always like at the top
So
performance level.
so Minko, like I have friends who like they invest in different types of like it's not necessarily just like these investment programs, or I don't want to use the term scheme because there's a stereotype that comes with it. Like if it's a scheme, there's something fishy
Exactly.
going on, right? Well, I don't really want to use the
Okay.
word scheme.
Right.
More like
How about
a
racket?
plan or a racket. Yeah, pwede. Modus operandi, modus,
Mo.
financial modus.
Ano, anong MO nito?
Okay, whatever you want to call it, man. As long as it convinces people to join in, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the thing. It's like racket. You know what? Hey, whatever, right? I mean, I know people who fall for that stuff. But however you sugarcoat it, at the end of the day, they're probably all one and the same almost, right? At the end of the day, it's all about a person giving another person an opportunity to make more out of their money. All right. So it's basically it. And the other person will either be like, okay, cool. First thing he's gonna ask is what's the risk involved? And then like obviously the other person will say very minimal risk, very whatever, right? But at the end of the day, it's a risk. Like
Yes,
even when you even with these like these mutual fund things, there's always a fine print. I don't know if anybody's read the fine print. I've read the fine print. You know what I'm saying? And there are no guarantees there. Even your deposit of 1 million is only PDIC insured up to 500,000 or something like that, right?
exactly.
So it's a risk. How many banks have closed since then? I mean, I remember during the 90s there were so many banks, and like now I recall those banks, and a lot of them have closed down. I mean, you have to line up outside or whatever. The bottom line here is, before you get into any of that stuff, make sure it's the risk that you can
You're
afford to
willing.
take.
Exactly.
I think, right?
Right.
If
Okay,
you're
so-
willing and can afford to take, and don't make a
Correct.
livelihood out of it. Like don't expect to make a living out of it or count the chicks before they hatch.
Yeah.
Like because I think that's what a lot of Filipinos are. We don't study the market, or we don't really get educated with financial jargon and all that stuff. They're like, makakabili na ako ng Raptor. Makakabili na ako ng ganyan. I'm like, your priorities are twisted, man.
Yeah.
Pay your bills first, then go get your
Yeah.
Raptor. You know what I'm saying? So that's the draw there. It's like everybody just wants that big thing. So, and I have friends who like they invest their money in certain things. Like, for example, like I had a friend, right? He had 1M to spare. I mean, so when you
Right.
say spare, it's like he had 1M. Like he could either put up a business, a coffee shop, and risk it there, or he could have
Right.
like put it in the bank or the money market or whatever. He put it in
Anything.
watches. Yeah, he
And
put it on
pop
watches.
investment.
Like he bought like Rolex watches. All right. This is the
Right.
time when they say Rolex is as good as gold or whatever. And this is the time when a Rolex, I think a Rolex Sub and the Rolex Batman, which is a GMT, at the time, the SRP, or at least the boutique market, the authorized dealer market price, is around 380 or less than 4, maybe around 400. And I wish I had Ryan here, Carter B, to join in, because he's the guy who knows a lot about this stuff. So like with the 1M, you could pretty much buy 3 of those, right? If you get at the authorized dealer or the gray market but dealer price. And that was like maybe what year is it now? It's 2021, right? That was probably around 2019 or 2018 before COVID. And now the prices for those watches have tripled. So like if you bought one of those watches in 2019 for 300 something thousand pesos, 380, they go for about 700 something plus. And there are watch enthusiasts out there that actually buy it. So it's a better investment than a car, I would say. It's easier to take around. It's small enough to put in a safe. It's also functional because you can obviously wear it and flaunt it and whatever. And I know people that buy these watches and don't take off the clear plastic because it's not visible from afar.
Yeah.
And you can actually sell it like new, like for that price.
It tells
See,
the
look at Iceman.
time. It tells the
Exactly.
time.
But the price doesn't triple. And next year there's going to be a new model, and that one's going to
Yes,
drop.
it goes
you know what I'm
down,
saying?
yeah,
So and like I said, like people have their own different things. Like real estate is one, right? It's kind of like a safe thing. But
So
when you think about, it's almost
Yeah.
like I just want to ask your point on this. It's almost like, okay, if I put up a fancy coffee shop, or between putting up a fancy coffee shop, investing my money there, or putting up 3 branches of Inato Barbecuehan, I would probably think that the Inato Barbecuehan would be more profitable than the fancy coffee shop, right? In terms of like the draw and the accessibility and like if I'm putting up like 500,000 pesos worth of a coffee shop, it's fancy, it's nice, I want to hang out there, my friends want to hang out there. But then for the same 500,000 pesos, I can put up 3 little stalls in Bagkerohan, in Agdao, and these are all barbecuehan. I get the feeling that the barbecuehans are probably going to outlive the coffee shop, just
Yeah.
mainly because right.
Yeah.
So
but
like in
that's
terms of in terms of investment with your money, what's comparable to that analogy?
so
Like rather put it in a
mm,
bank, put it in a real estate. What is the more kind of like mas madaling perahan na
yeah.
hindi naman,
Let me
you know.
break it down for you, the scenario that you just mentioned. So inato barbecuehan versus coffee shop. But
Yes,
you
yes.
know where to put those barbecue shops. You know it will be in Agdao. You will know it will be in Bangkerohan because that's the market there. If you put a coffee shop there, definitely no one's go there,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes, yes.
But if
Yes.
you have that coffee shop and you find the proper place to put it, maybe in Ecolan, for example, in Matina, where there's quite access to this market type, then for
Yeah, yeah.
sure it will also make
Huna
money.
has that community now, right? The Huna
Yeah,
area, right? Yeah.
exactly. So it really depends now on where you put your business, right? What am I trying
Okay.
to say? It's because you're trying to understand your business. The same thing with investment. You have to understand what
Right.
is
It's
that
either you
investment is about.
right.
You
It's
have to
either
make
you
that
pick
research.
paper or you pick land, right? That's what you're saying. Pick
It's either
paper, pick
load or
land.
papel.
Which
Ano
one
ha?
is it?
Load or
but
papel?
but look, Ice, if you have the land, I have the paper. In 3 years, I'm pretty sure I will have the money, the land. You have a 50-50 chance.
And I'll tell you
Right.
this.
Oh,
I'm and
you
I'm
like just put up
and
a
I'm not
house there in the
no, no,
future.
I'll
Give
tell
it
you
to
this. I'll tell you this. I'm not against like real estate altogether because that's exactly how I was able to buy the house because my Lola invested in real estate or my Lolo did and I reaped whatever that investment. I partly reaped the rewards of it or whatever. But at the end of the day, me being like on the end of where I could actually I was an administrator. I'm still an administrator, property administrator of my family here in the Philippines, and I'm telling you, the taxes dealing with
Oh yeah, yeah,
squatters, dude, are you kidding me? You have to pay these people, man, just to get out of your property, and there are people that claim the road right away. And I'm just saying, it's like, okay, you can hold on to that if you have the staff, the manpower, the capacity, the connections in the registry of deeds, the connections in the assessor's office, or you have like you're a lawyer or whatever the heck you are, fine. But if you're like a single guy like me who just like has a small family and like I don't really have like a group of armed men that can intimidate a squatter or like a group of people that can run things for me, like I literally have to walk around San Pedro, go to it's tough, man. It's
yeah,
tough. They don't
yeah,
make it easy here. You have to have money to make money, and you have to have money to maintain a property, unless you're buying it and then you're selling it like in the span of a month. But like what Minko said, it's not gonna happen. It's a waiting game. You have to wait for the community to thrive. You have to wait for businesses to
yeah,
open
exactly.
nearby. If it's a rural property, that's even worse. You might as well plant mangoes there or whatever. And like I had to deal with all that stuff, dude. I mean, and you're paying taxes after taxes after taxes. I remember telling my mom, Ma, Lola just gave that to me. Like what? It's like this person. I remember the story of a friend of mine. There's just like I think it was a close-up a contest
Right.
or raffle, and this old lady who owns a sari store won a Mercedes Benz van. Remember when Mercedes had vans, but it was actually like a Sangyong or something. It was like actually like a Korean van, but they put Mercedes, but it was Mercedes, right? So she won it, but she had to pay like 150,000 for the tax to be able to claim. So what she did, she sold it because she couldn't put up the money to pay the tax. You know what I'm
So it wasn't
saying?
tax
So
free. Most of these things are
it was
tax
not
free.
tax free. It was not
Then
tax
that was a
free. Apparently,
ripoff.
you
Yeah,
That was a
so
ripoff.
so and remember when we were kids and we'd see commercials about, hey, win a sports car or whatever, tax free. Like we didn't care much about the tax free thing. Like it was just like, what the heck? What's the big deal with tax free? Now you realize it's a big deal because you won't be able to
Right.
claim it without paying the taxes. So this lady sold it. So what I'm saying is, you think you inherit a property, you're good? Are you
Yeah,
kidding
but
me? You inherit a property,
there's a
dude.
way
You gotta
around it. That's
transfer
why.
that.
Yeah, that's why you
Yeah, go
have to
ahead.
give it to your son or your daughter while you're still alive. Don't wait until you die, because when you
see,
die, that's
that's
when the problem is.
yeah,
So
that's
that's
the
why it's
thing
all
No, no,
now. Especially
yeah,
now,
but it
nowadays,
doesn't
like
matter.
you have the pandemic, right? What if, well, God forbid, right? Something happens. You need the money
Yeah.
immediately. What are you going to
Yes.
do with
You
the
can't
land?
just
Well, if
sell
you have that
property.
paper and you still have like 3 years, well, you still
Prenda,
can't get the money,
prenda.
can't you?
You can pawn it. You can pawn it.
You can actually return it, but the fee, there will be a fee. There will be a fee for that.
Of course.
Because
You know here.
our contract is 3 years and you're returning it to me after 1 year. Of course, you have to pay a fee.
Yeah.
Okay, how much is this fee? Like, how many
I that one
percent
I'm
are we
not
talking
sure
about?
of the details. It's
All
for
right.
sure it will be minimal. For sure.
I think with the property also you also have to time it. Like you can't just hold on to it and say, it's gonna go up and go up, go up, go up. No, what if like a massacre happens in that property freaking neighborhood?
Exactly.
The property's gonna go down. What if somebody puts up a cemetery or a freaking funeral parlor all of a sudden? The property's gonna go down. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I
it's
mean,
not,
basically, it's the
you
same
know,
thing with all. Okay, here's the thing. I learned this from Gabby because we were talking. Um, Probably nothing to do with business or whatever, but we were just talking about security, and we were talking about like, oh, how should be looking for a job that that's secured, and I mean, you have a better future with, and blah blah blah. But then she just told me like, yeah, I mean, you can do all these things, but at the end of the day, you can never really you can never really tell. Like, all right,
that's
let's
true.
say you have a good job. You
Yeah.
got that good job, good good salary. Then it's that company's stable, and
Boom, it's
like
COVID.
very generous and whatnot. Boom, and all of a
Then
sudden
boom,
you're in a
COVID
car
happens.
accident. Yeah, or
Yeah,
COVID
whatever.
happens,
Yeah.
or you
Yeah,
got
yeah,
in a
yeah.
car accident, and all of a sudden you're in you're inutile, you
Invalid.
can't walk or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's the same thing. So I was like, all right, well, yeah, well, all right, okay, she has a point. She has a point. I mean, so in anything that we do, in any investment that we do, like yeah, for example, like PAL. Years ago, they'd be like, all right, that was a good
Yeah,
investment.
exactly.
Like PAL was like a big hit. And now, boom, now they're filed for bankruptcy. Same with all the other airlines and whatnot. And
Because if we
now I
would though,
think,
if we had known back then, we would have bought like crazy stocks on Apple and like
right,
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, the tech
right.
stuff. I mean,
That
who are
that
gaining
Yeah,
from
the
this
tech stuff.
pandemic? The
That's
tech
right.
stuff. And like
that
the,
that's
stuff.
like
the
Netflix,
that's the
Hulu, these
reason.
things.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
the
yes.
reason why I love finance, because it never stops there. You should learn always. You have to understand the industry. What do you think will happen in the next few years? Who would have thought Nokia would close down,
Yeah.
right? They were like the
But can
top
you learn that,
phone.
Minko? Can you actually learn
Yeah, can you,
predicting
yeah,
things? I mean, you can't really
have you,
like. How do you
did
learn
you
that? You
predict
can
it?
learn the theory. You can learn the theory, but
Right.
I think it's also kind of like a gift. Like some people just have this instinct where anything they touch turns to gold. It's like I know this because it's like the property we had in Bakaka. I remember my mom would always tell me about this where the old house was, and it's not ours anymore. We sold it, but I remember my lolo, because my lolo migrated to Davao with my lola, and my lolo was a lawyer, but he was in Ilocos, and his brother, who was a judge, started a law practice in General Santos City. So my Lola was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Mindanao. And my Lola was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Jensan with my brother because he's already established himself there. And my Lolo there in Jensan said, no, there are enough lawyers here. Go to Davao, they need more. So my Lolo decided to come here. And when he picked a place to put up a house, my Lolo judge from Jensan came over to visit, and he's like, why did you buy property here? Because Bakaka was like all grass,
Mhm.
it was so like inaccessible. It was probably like maybe, I don't know, like maybe somewhere in Toril, like years ago, it kind of comparable to that. Like there was like nothing going on there. And my Lola's like, you know what? I read the city plan. I checked the city plan. They got the airport's going to be on whatever. I saw there's going to be development here. So that's something that he has basis. He wasn't a risk that he didn't have a basis on. He actually, maybe he was friends with people in the government, local government at the time, and showed him the city plan. And it's like, okay, so that's where I'm going to get my property before anybody is onto it.
Yeah.
So it ends up our property becomes part of poblacion. Like you'd never imagine like a property like Bakaka to be like, worth anything. So he wasn't a guess. It wasn't a risk. He actually had the basis for making
Research.
that choice,
He
right?
did his
Because
research.
yeah, because back then everyone he knew, the people who were successful and professionals were buying properties in Huna because Huna was where all the rich people were living. So he was like the only one like going to the other way. Like why the heck are you going that way? Everyone's in Matina, everyone's this way. So because of that. So my thing is, it's like if like you said, you have to learn the market. But how can you learn it? Like what you said, Nokia. Like if somebody, I'm pretty sure if we were doing this before the Nokia crash, you'd probably be telling us get stocks, get Nokia stocks. Like I'm pretty sure you'd say that. I'm pretty sure if there was a financial expert, he would be like, hey, Nokia is going, get Nokia stocks. Now, looking at it years back, would we be able to say that okay, that guy gave good advice, right? So we really don't know. I mean, like what Iceman said, you
Exactly.
could, right? So
Yeah.
what is it that you can empower yourself with to not necessarily be able to predict the future, because that's not going to happen, but to lessen the failures that could possibly happen?
Exactly.
I
So
think that's basically it.
that's the thing with finance. It's not a foolproof plan, but what you do is you try to eliminate the risk. You try to slowly eliminate the causes of failures. So that's why you have to learn, you have to research. If there's a tip, it's really understanding what you're investing in. Nowadays
Yeah.
it's pandemic. Will you invest in airlines? Definitely not.
No, but you know what? I would probably say yes, because it's low.
Yes, it's
Buy
low,
when
but
low, sell when
if you
high. I
can
mean,
wait
when are you
for
going to be able to buy these stocks?
if
It's
you can
super
wait
cheap right now.
10, 20 years, that's okay. But from
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
10 to 20, what happens between you buy now and the next 5 years? Maybe they go like pal also, because it's still not happening. So you're protecting now your risk. So what do? I then move to tech
But
company, for example.
yeah, but here's my take on it. Like, for example,
Yeah,
the airline situation. Here's my take on it. It's inevitable, man. We need these airlines to
yes,
rebound.
definitely.
People need
Yeah.
to travel. It's a necessity. Industries will die, so they're gonna have. It's gonna have to rebound. It's not like Starbucks where people can pass up on the luxury coffee. This is the airline industry, for crying out loud. And I think
Yeah.
if you're gonna predict anything, it's like, damn, it's gonna. It's not that it might. It will. It has to, unless people are just going to stay in their respective places and not move around anymore, or cargo will not be sent anymore, or whatever. It
It
has
is,
to.
yes. The only
But
question
like what
is
you're saying, you
which
have to wait.
company. Yes, we have to wait, and which company will survive. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
here's a
Well,
good
in the
experience of
Philippines, we have how many? How many do we have in the Philippines in
we
terms of
have
based
PAL
on your
and
knowledge about airline?
Cebu Pacific. You
Is
have
that
PAL
it?
and Cebu Pacific.
That's
Yeah,
it.
I mean that
Yeah,
is listed in a stock exchange.
because Iceman went to Japan via Grand Air.
Grand Air. What's that?
You
I don't
remember
know.
that Grand Air? You don't remember Grand Air? You don't remember Grand Air, Ice? I think that's Malaysian, right? I think it's. I don't think I don't think that was a Filipino airline. Y'all remember Grand Air?
No,
Anybody remember Grand Air? God, nobody
no, I
remembers
don't.
Grand
No,
Air.
no clue.
Oh
No
my
clue.
god.
No clue.
Only
But
airfield.
going back to your airline, here's a very good use case. Remember last year, everything locked down. People were clamoring to go out. The stocks went down. I invested in Cebu Pacific because there was news that October 1st, they will allow the flights going to happen. And if you look at
Okay.
the stock price at October 1st, because that was really the first communication or news that they will allow flights, it really went up. I made a substantial gain there, so was very happy. But I
Mm-hmm.
sold it at that
Nice.
time. I didn't wait. So you have to understand how the industry happens. Here's another take. It's a bit harsh, but it did happen. Look at ABS-CBN with the franchise, right? So weeks before, there were already discussions that, okay, their franchise might not be renewed. What did I do? I invested on GMA, because if the news really, like they say, it's not going to be renewed, for sure there will be one network, and that was GMA listed on the
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
And I made also
Yeah.
substantial gain there. If you look at those dates, when this news came out, that's why you really have to understand the industry. You have to understand the companies. I don't know all the companies. I just have a list of companies which I know, which I follow, which I play around with. So that's the same with finance. You
Yeah.
really have to understand. You cannot just, I
It's
have
kind of
money.
like you have to. Yeah. You're saying like you have money.
Yeah,
You have to have like
it,
insight into the situation, right?
exactly. You have to understand the situation. It's not about I have money, I'll close my eyes, I'll buy this. No, you have to understand. Again, at the end of the
It's
day,
like
you
when
have to
people
protect
say
the
in the
risks.
news, yeah, when people say in the news, it's like, oh, nagmahal yung pandesal or whatever, or mura yung pandesal or whatever. Just what people hear and read. Mura or mahal yung pandesal. But what the
Yeah,
underlying thing there is, dahil nagmura or nagmahal yung sugar, dahil nagmahal or mura yung
yes,
flour, dahil nagmahal yung
exactly.
mura yung logistics, dahil you know what I'm saying? It's like there's a lot involved there. It's not like just the product itself. There's a lot involved. Like
Exactly.
why, or like
Exactly.
what you said, like the stocks of GMA went up because the competition was kind of
Cut.
erased, so
Yeah.
it wasn't even intentional monopoly. Like they didn't want it, but obviously people are going to go to where, and I think that's the same thing with like other industries that die. It's like if an industry thrives, another one usually suffers. Like I'll say like the industry of radio where Ice and I, come from. That is a radio that we so love, and but I'm not saying like the industry is dying or whatever, but I'm probably not going to invest in it more than I would on stocks on YouTube or Spotify, because those are the ones that the kids seem to be leaning towards on, like for example, just a comparison. You look at remember when we used to have billboards that were hand painted?
Sorry,
Rudy. Okay,
I'm
you don't.
young.
Liar, liar,
You're that young?
liar.
So you never actually looked at a billboard and wondered if that was Lito Lapid or Rudy Fernandez?
Or
No,
Dante Barona, for that matter.
Or Dante Parona, 'cause they all look the same. And you find that it was Erap? But I mean, what I'm saying is like that, like for example, that like art and sign, the industry of art and sign. When you drove around Davao back in the 80s, that was like left and right art and sign, art and sign,
Yeah,
art and
yeah,
sign, right?
yeah.
Like, what is this? It's people who actually hand paint these things and do it manually, and they have this talent, whatever, and they have these giant ass whatever, and you see it in the cinemas and all that, or even businesses. It's art and sign, and now it's like tarpaulin, right?
Yeah.
Everything's like freaking like. You can print your face there, put up a billboard with your face,
Right.
and it's like in high resolution. You know what I'm saying?
So
So
speaking of
that
which,
industry,
I wonder what happened to Paconla Arts and Sign. Remember that Paconla
he actually
Arts and
ran
Sign?
for consular, dude. I think he ran
Mr.
for city
Paconla?
councilor one
Pacon-
time. Yeah. He
Paconla?
ran for city councilor one time. He did. I'm not sure like what year, but I remember I think he ran for city councilor, and I knew him. So I was like, I would have voted for him because I'm an artist. I love to draw. Like I totally support that
So
industry.
you actually
but like
know
I
this
knew like.
guy, Paconla Art
Of
and Sign. I
course.
mean,
I don't know him personally, but I don't know him personally, but I know him. He's like an icon. He's probably the like I think I don't know where his studio was I don't even know if it's a studio, Ice, but his his spot. I think it was like near Gmall.
Right.
Was
Yeah,
that near
yeah,
G-
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, was that near
yeah.
Gmall?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah,
See?
yeah, yeah.
See, it's
Paconla-
near Gmall, right?
Paconla Art and Sign. Yes.
See, I
Yes.
know these things, man. So what I'm saying is it's like, yeah, that kind of a thing. Like, how can you predict that? Okay. So I know a lot of people who started businesses when everybody could afford a printer where you could print
Yeah,
pictures in mugs
exactly.
and stickers and all that
Mhm,
stuff.
mhm.
But you know what? I don't know. It's become a saturated industry. There's so many now.
Correct. Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
everybody took that dive. Like the sari-sari store mentality. Paano kaya yaman? There's like 50 of you in the same street.
Yeah. And
The-
let me go back then to your scenario. When you put up 3 barbecue stores in, let's say, Agdao, but there's already 100 there. I have one coffee shop in Huna.
Marami
Who
na,
do you
yeah.
think will survive? Right? So
But
that's
there's
the
so many
thing.
coffee shops in Huna too. You have Starbucks there. You
No. Good point.
I mean-
No. Good point. Good point. I that's a good point. And when you think about
really
the
have to
coffee
know the
shops,
market.
people forget that people don't go to coffee shops for the coffee. They go there for the vibe. They go there for the Wi-Fi. They go there for
Yeah.
reading the magazines that they don't have at home. They're there for the right.
I was reading this book. It's really a nice book. I forgot the author, but it's one of the bosses of Starbucks. He wrote a book entitled "It's Not About the Coffee." He basically said, "We're not selling actually the coffee. What we're selling is your experience of going inside the coffee shop, having that ambience, having that sound,
Exactly.
greeted good morning by the
Basically,
bartender."
that's why I like
So-
to go to Starbucks because I can have my way.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
most of the time.
now it goes back to building relationships, right?
Right,
Relationship
yeah, but if
manager.
you're in a bank and you say you're a relationship manager, I don't buy that shit, man. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
Starbucks, you go there,
yeah.
they serve you. Hey, Ice, how you doing today?
Hey, that's the relationship.
Same?
Your relationship with the barista.
Yeah,
No, if I don't have
but that-
millions in the bank, they don't care about me. The baristas,
that's
they
more
care
gen-
about every person
that's
who
more
gets
genuine.
in Starbucks.
That's more
know.
genuine. That's more genuine. I seriously know, because you know why? I went to Starbucks with Ice. We got coffee. He treated me to coffee. The freaking barista knew him.
I
She's
know,
like, "You're
right? Like,
Iceman?"
it's not because
Like,
I'm Iceman. It's because,
remember?
like,
No,
they start, yes,
she
yes,
knew
yes,
you.
because-
She's like,
right.
remember we got her name and everything.
Yeah, Eve,
Like,
Eve,
we-
Eve was
Yeah,
like a
see?
listener, but
Now
then,
that's
yeah.
a relationship, my friend. Now here's the thing. My
Exactly.
thing, Minko, is Iceman's point, and I kind of understand it. It's like, don't the scariest relationship is the world is the one that involves money. I mean,
Yes.
families kill each other for money. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
people break up over money.
Minko, you should know that. You should know that.
I actually feel like my take on it is I actually feel like if you're trying to get me to, I'd rather have you kind of like keep it professional between us rather than you trying to kiss my ass too much, because that kind of scares me. There's always an agenda. It's like you're like this guy stalking me at the parking lot trying to sell me this car
You're
wax or something.
talented, Mr.
When I'm
But
like,
at the end,
yeah,
yeah, at the end of the day, it's about the performance of your portfolio, regardless of whatever relationship you have. If your portfolio is losing, you pull out your money.
Right?
So it's not just about
Yeah.
relationship.
I don't
you're
care
right, you're
about
right.
the title.
You're right. You're right.
Just
You're right.
make
You're
me
right.
money, bitch.
But isn't it
yeah.
nice? Imagine, isn't it nice? You have a gain of 10%, you have 1 million in the bank, gain of 10%. Okay, you pay a fee of 2%, and you get the
Yeah, I know.
free
It's fine.
overnights
It's fine.
in
But
Paradise
still,
or
yes,
Profile.
I'm all for that. I agree with you. No problem. But still, I wouldn't call him a relationship manager. Be my bank guy. I will call you my bank guy. He's my bank guy. He's my money guy.
Then you call him RM.
Yeah.
If you have that
He's your
money, you can
he's your
call him
bag
whenever
he's
you
your
want.
bag boy.
Relationship
Minko,
manager, my ass.
Minko, let me ask you, with the people that you encountered and the people you've spoken to and shared your wealth of knowledge about finances and all that stuff, what's the ratio of those who are, I guess, more active or more interested or more optimistic about, how they deal with their money and saving it and the way that you would advise them to save it? Is it the younger set or is it the older set? Like, is it obviously we're the older people, we fall into the older people category. That's why we're skeptics. We're like, we doubt everything. Whereas the kids are like, everything, if anything that they could make money off, they would, like even like somebody's asking me about like, or somebody's asking you about Axie. Like, what's your take on Axie? What's
Yeah,
your take
okay,
on this
yeah,
and
okay.
that?
Hang on. Because
There's
we
actually
have
a lot of
we have
really
some
nice
questions here, right?
questions. Yeah.
So
Read the
Axie, all right.
messages,
So
go.
Minko, what's your take on Axie? All right, that's number
First
one. And the
explain
second
Axie.
question.
First explain Axie.
All right. Okay. Then like before you do that, the first question was Axie. Then the second one is from still from Patrick. I think it's about the GameStop situation earlier
In the
in
States.
the US. All right. So Axie and this GameStop situation. What's your take on that?
All
It's
right. So
manipulation, right? The GameStop thing.
um it's not manipulation actually.
What was it? What was it?
It's really
Okay,
people
I'll
just
disappear for a while. All right, I'll disappear for a while. Just go on, carry on.
all
I'll
right.
disappear.
Yeah, go ahead,
So
Minko. Yeah,
yeah. So we go for GameStop first, right?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So before I answer the let me give you the context of what happened. So basically in the US, you can actually short a stock. Here in the Philippines, we cannot do that in the stock market. So basically what we do, we buy and then we sell high, right? For
Okay, yeah.
shorting, you're basically for us, the typical way is you're buying a stock because you're betting that company will succeed, you will have higher gains, they have better financial performance, so you wanting it to succeed, the company. But with
Yeah, yeah.
shorting, actually you gain if they lose money. So if their
Ooh.
performance goes down, they have bad sales, their stock prices goes down. When the stock price goes down, then you earn the money. I will not go into the
Okay.
very nitty gritty of stuff, but the
Okay.
outlying
But I get what you
principle
mean.
is
Yeah, it's like the
yeah,
opposite. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So now what happened? So in the US, there's this GameStop. It's actually, I believe it's like where you buy your games, like
Games. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So the
Yeah.
problem is, I mean, nowadays you don't really go to the shops to buy those stuff. You buy it online, right? Like for
Yes.
PS5,
Yes.
for example.
Yes.
So what
Yes.
happened is that performance of the company went down. And
Yes.
then these big banks actually, or fund managers, then shorted this stock.
Okay.
When they shorted this, some people in Reddit, the forum, the online forum in the internet,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
noticed
Yeah.
this. So someone said, you know what, let's buy GameStop stock so that it goes up. So now the big institutions, the banks, were betting it to go down. But
It went
remember,
up.
it went up because more and more people kept buying. So there was
Yeah.
what we call the short squeeze, where basically instead of it going down, it went up. The problem
Yeah.
is these institutions have the fund managers in them. You have the funds, they're
Mm-hmm.
losing money also. So The concept there was really because of the internet. Someone posted, "Hey, the big banks are shorting this. How about we start buying this stock? And if we have enough people buying this stock, then the stock price will go up." Because
So it
as you
all began
know,
with Reddit. Yeah, it was
exactly,
that's why
it's really
that's why I
just Reddit.
remember hearing about Reddit. Yeah, I remember hearing about
Exactly.
Reddit when it was mentioned.
So
Yeah.
someone just posted it, and then a lot of guys really bought, and then eventually it went up and up because they
Oh
wanted to,
man.
this antagonizing the banks and the big institutions. They became the
Yeah, yeah,
Robin
yeah.
Hoods now. So
Yeah.
basically, that's what they did. So
So they
they
kind of in a
short
way
squeezed.
saved GameStop.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, was it okay? Was it legal? It was very much legal. You know,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. That's the thing with finance. You can never really predict everything. Else you can always
Yeah.
be a millionaire. That's why you
Do
need
you
to
see?
have a lot of
I gotta ask you, like, before you move on to the next one, which was what was the next
axi,
question? Axie. Okay,
axi.
before you get to
Yeah.
that, I just gotta ask you, like, since you've been in this thing for so long, you've done your research and your homework, you're educated, you've traveled, um, you've rubbed elbows with people who know what they're talking about, hence now you know what you're talking about. Like, we look up to you when it comes to this. Like, literally, if you tell me something, I take your word for it. But I want to ask you, like, has your outlook and how you see things, has it become different now because of that knowledge that you have? Like, for example, if you walk in a store, are you actually like immediately playing in your mind going, okay, this store, the stocks will go up, or this store has potential, or this store will be bought out by this bigger store? I mean, do you actually walk and think that way now because of the things that you deal with on a daily basis and what you read?
Funny enough, that happens to me randomly. Like, okay, when I go to the store, this is the store where they will be bought by next week. So let me see. I have this kind of thinking. It's not really intentional. It's quite random as well. So yeah, you kind of have like this premonition, kind of, or just suddenly all the things that you were researching comes into your mind
What
subconsciously,
about like
basically.
like chat time? Like, I don't know if you're familiar with chat time, but it's like milk tea or something. And I know
Yeah.
there are a lot of milk tea places out there, but for some reason there's like always a line at a chat time. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Like, I mean, is it does popularity create demand, or the
It's the brand.
popularity is
It's the brand.
earned? Like,
It's the
you know what I'm
brand.
saying? Like, are people
Yeah.
like I was actually talking to Iceman. I'm like, dude, we can actually put up a lechon manok stand and just like pay your friends to line up, or just tell them, create a fuss, just so people will pass by and go, "Uy, masarap siguro dyan. Dyan na tayo
But
bumili."
that's
Like,
that's actually true. They are doing that. The planted ones. If you go to a networking, this networking multi-level marketing, let's be honest, there are planted people there asking questions.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is part of
There are
marketing.
planted people there that are driving brand new cars, right?
Yeah. And look at foreigners trying Filipino food, and then their title of their videos is "A foreigner eating balut, a foreigner
Yeah.
eating Jollibee,"
Yeah, it's a
because
million
that's
views.
yeah,
Filipino
exactly, because of
baiting,
the Philippine culture.
Pinoy baiting,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We actually had that
exactly.
as a topic. Yeah, Pinky had that. Pinky suggested that as a topic. We had that as a topic for one of our episodes
But
back
that's
back in the day.
that's that's normal. That's marketing. The same way how we concept
Yeah,
like your
because
barbecue
Filipinos are
stand.
stupid because I mean, who are the victims of these Pinoy baiting? Pinoys.
No,
That's why.
let but if you look at you take a step back, you're just reviewing the market. You go to Agdao for the barbecue shop, not with the coffee shop, because the market segment is the barbecue shop, right?
I know if I
So
want to
Yeah,
if
save
yeah.
on,
as a
if
content
I want to save on
creator,
money, then I would go
you
to
know,
Agdao and eat barbecue there. That's what I do all the time. I eat there, small time
Yeah.
corner,
You see, that's the
or
thing too. Okay,
um,
that's the thing too, Ice. That's where
Bainte
the
Busog.
deception lies. That's where the deception
I
lies.
go
You're like,
there.
if I want to save money, I'm gonna eat barbecue at Agdao or at Bangkerohan. Yeah, it's like, like 5 per stick. And you end up eating like 50 sticks. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You were better
exactly.
off going to the coffee
Dude,
shop and ordering
dude,
pasta, man.
in my experience, every time I go to Bainte Busog, dude, I spend 20. I spend
Okay,
20.
good
I
for
never
you.
go.
You,
I
you,
never go
you have
beyond
strong
that.
willpower. Dude,
Right.
whenever I go to Carinderia, it's like, I'm gonna eat Carinderia. It's gonna be a guilt-free day because I'm not gonna spend a lot, and it's like a home cooked meal. And I come home with all these bags. And my wife's like, "Oh, kano yan?" Pabo 300. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you don't go to a Carinderia and buy
And
300, but
then
you see all
300,
these
but how
freaking.
many putahe? How many putahe? How
I
many
can't
dishes?
I can't count, but dude,
All
pork
right.
chop is
See?
35 pesos, right? You buy 3 pork chops na ganyan kanipis, right? I'm not gonna buy one pork chop na ganyan kanipis. Literally, like I breathe, I'll suck it in. But I'm just saying it's like it's still cheaper. Yes, it's still cheaper than, let's say. But then again, you can get a crispy chicken fillet with rice at McDo for 49.59 pesos, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
but what
they've
if
learned.
what if you've been having it for the
There's
past
fu-
5 days?
there's fun shots meal at Yeah, okay, all right, but there's fun shots meal at KFC.
I mean, yeah, I would
come
eat
on,
there
right?
too. I would eat at McDonald's, but if I've been having that for the past 3 days, I certainly want to go somewhere.
Yeah, see that's the thing. It's like that's the thing. And I don't know about you, Minko, if that's your take on it, but I usually like whenever the new business opens. And I'm like, wow, nice business. I hope they last and thrive. I really do. I personally, because I have a lot of friends. My wife she had a nail spa business. Obviously it didn't last very long, but she did. And
No,
I
because it
saw,
wasn't her passion. It wasn't her passion. Look at her baking now.
Yeah.
Because it's her passion.
No, but-
she has passion for it
oh,
in some ways.
thank you.
See, it's doing
That's
very
true.
good.
Actually,
Right?
it takes a
'Cause
while.
that
It
wasn't
takes
her
a while to
passion. I
find
know
where
bags,
success lies.
right?
That's true. That's
And,
true.
and she
That's
had a
true. So
business
we should.
partner.
So Ice, let's put up a radio station, or at least put up a
I know.
legit studio for our
That's
show.
why we're starting
That's
this.
our passion.
I mean, yeah,
But-
this
but-
is a start.
but
This
anyways,
is a start.
So going back to what I was saying is like usually it starts out as a fancy place, right? And then after a couple of months, you start seeing we offer value meal, we offer combo meal. Parang like, oh my God, na jologs yung lugar. You know what I'm saying? It's like this started out as a fancy place. Now they're selling like value meal because they realize that no one's coming in. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Exactly. Yeah.
maybe because people don't have money, maybe because it was just competing with bigger, how do you compete with the franchises or the big name restaurants or whatever, even if you have a nice place with maybe good food, but you just don't have the marketing power, you just don't have the location, that draws people in or whatever. All of a sudden, and that's usually for me, that's usually like a first sign of like a business that's struggling, where they all of a sudden like do a 180 and they change their target market all of a sudden. It's like they're in panic mode. Panic mode na yan. Yeah, panic mode na yan, right?
Uy, unli rice na. Uy, unli iced tea.
I know. It's like
Lugi.
this used to be so social. Filet mignon with only rice. I mean, it's not gonna happen, right? Right. Surf and turf, lobster and steak with only rice. Free sabaw.
Yeah, exactly.
Pop. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I mean, I know we're laughing at it, but it's a reality of life. It's a reality of businesses. It's like nagiging chop suey yung lugar, right? It's like nagiging chop suey yung lugar. And I think it's not because you're mocking it because my value meal. Everybody needs to save money. But what I'm saying is it didn't start out that way. It wasn't intentionally supposed to be that way.
Yeah, because we're like onto our like we're like an
go
hour,
next
20
one
minutes now, right? So
No, because there was a question
cryptocurrency.
that you were supposed to. Yeah,
Okay,
go.
really?
Axie first. Axie
okay.
first.
Axie,
Axie
all right, let's go to
Axie is actually cryptocurrency also.
Is that the cologne?
Okay. All right.
You're
Let's
so
talk about
90s,
Axie.
guys. So 90s.
Was that that's Axe? Axie.
No, actually,
Axe,
Ice is from Aramis and Paco Rabanne era. Aspen pa yan. Bago na yung axe.
Hermes. All right, okay, Axie is like a type of cryptocurrency. So it's like a
Um,
Dogecoin or like
Okay, it's a bit complicated to explain, but let me try to explain. First, Axie is actually an play to earn game. You play, you get the coins, you earn, you can sell it, or basically.
That's right up my alley. It's right up my alley. I'm a gamer.
Play to earn. So this
Yes.
is like sort of like a casino type. Like you play, you make
play.
money.
It's like I think it's a okay. First thing,
Casino, you go in, you play.
don't-
You make money,
I
you lose
don't-
money. That's how it is.
You buy
For-
you buy a character for 70,000 pesos or
Correct.
something like that,
Exactly.
right?
So, first
No,
things
I'm not
first-
kidding. You buy
Yeah,
a
that's
character
true,
for
that's
that
true.
much, and then you
Yeah,
play
that's
with that character and earn money.
Yeah. So,
That-
first and foremost, I haven't
Wait.
played this game. I just know the concept behind. Okay, so that's true, Rod. You buy a certain character for a certain amount, and then this character. You
Okay,
use to play.
hey.
Yeah.
This certain amount. Let's not hide behind this word certain amount. What's the certain amount? What's the lowest?
Dati 30,000 lang daw.
Yeah.
Dati 30,000 lang daw.
Exactly.
Ngayon 70 na.
30.
So,
Yeah.
dapat
See how
magmadali
ridiculous
tayo.
that is?
Bumili na tayo. Baka umakyat. Baka 120 na next year.
Here's the thing. You know what? Mingo, I don't know whose side you're on, but you're like, oh, I'm not defending. I'm just, like the banks from the bank. And now like, oh, this certain amount. Like, dude, certain amount, 30,000 pesos, 70,000 pesos.
No,
That's not just a certain amount.
I think
That's a big
because-
amount.
I think it
Because
changes, right? It changes. It
yes,
changes.
exactly.
The,
It changes.
yeah, yeah, it
Before it was
changes.
30,
Changes.
I saw 20, 10,000 way back, way back.
Oh,
But
ngayon,
there's a
pababa
lot.
na, pababa na.
Ng-
But that was way
Ngayon
back. Now
70
it's
na daw.
increasing.
Ngayon
Yeah.
70.
There's even
70.
someone selling, I think around 80 to 100.
Holy crap.
For the
Anong
Yeah.
character.
kagaguhan ito?
Now
Anong
this
kagaguhan
character.
ito?
So this character, you basically
So
play it.
basically, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, so you play it and then eventually you earn what they call, there's two coins there, a smooth love potion or as a SLP or an axis. I don't know why they had that name. So this
Told you, Ice, we should do Lolo Gaming, man. Come on. It's time for Lolo
So-
Gaming. Come on.
Who fall for these things?
Let's drive,
No,
let's drive
it's-
the bus. Let's drive
I
the
mean-
bus.
Look, at the end of the day, it's the same with playing basketball where you're getting paid, right? It's the same thing. They
Yeah,
just
I
pay
don't
you
get
the
paid
money.
70,000
No.
every
No, you know what it is? Basically,
pay
you know
other
what,
people.
basically, you know what it is?
70,000
It's
every
basically,
Wednesday.
it's basically the guy who started all this is getting richer every day. You know, that's
I
basically
know,
it.
right? He
Here's
sold that idea. He sold that
The
idea.
only guarantee, the
This
only
character
guarantee here is the guy who
made
started it
money.
is wealthy. That's it.
Actually, I-
whereas you know, if
I
you're gonna
know
get
some
wealthy, then that's
people-
up in the
I
air.
know some people. I know some people who earn from
Who
this
got
because
wealthy.
they started quite early, right? So
Early.
now
So,
going
okay.
back
Yeah.
to this
So,
Axie.
how do they earn? How do they earn?
So I believe what happens is you fight in a PvP arena, and if you win, you get some coins in the back. So this coins is what we call now the cryptocurrency. So this
So you're
cryptocurrency,
playing against real people or against bots?
I think it's against people. So it's like if you have a character, Rod, you go up against me, basically.
So is it possible that the creators of this game can possibly create characters which are supposedly human players, but
they can.
actually they no, but I mean we're not programmers. We can't say that's not possible.
I mean,
Come on,
that's,
man.
that's
Anything's possible,
but
right?
it defeats
They
the
could
purpose
create-
of the game.
No, but I mean, if it means beating you and you not making the money and them, you know what I'm saying? It's like I said, here's the thing. There's always, I think if it's, I mean, I'm not a programmer, so I'm not gonna mess around with that and say anything. Zeb. I'm just saying for me, it's like even when we play double dribble or like NBA 2K or whatever, right? We always say tikas maning, you know, like we always say like
Yeah.
the AI is like luto ni
Exactly.
luto rep, you know, like I mean, we complain. Because there's always
Hang on,
like,
hang on. Time out. You know this
AI,
guy?
man.
Andrew Caicedo? You know this
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah. Why?
Wow, Jong.
That's-
Isn't he our classmate from Assumption? Is this the guy? Same guy? Is he from Assumption?
He's from Davao. He's from Davao. I know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
Now
I
I
haven't-
knew him from Rotary.
You have a hashtag now. Guapong guest, Minco Domingo. Dude, does he owe you money? Does he owe
No.
you money?
Well, I hope.
I'm kidding.
all right. Okay. Same guy. All right. Jong
Okay,
said,
people know this
said
guy.
hi. So
Everybody
yeah.
knows this guy.
Yeah. So
All right.
So
So,
going
hold
back,
up. Patrick says, yeah, LeBron investing $1 million per year on his body regimen to earn more every
Exactly.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay, let me
So,
go back
like,
then to what you said. You know, at the end of the day, that's a program. You can always, do something strange. But that's the thing. You should be, at least as in the digital world, try to keep it as fair as possible. That's why I think 2 months ago, Axie rolled out an upgrade where they saw there were a lot of people using bots. That's why then they made some changes ensuring that the play, it's fair play.
Right. These
You know,
hackers are gonna
This
go around it
upgrade-
again,
Exactly.
and then there's gonna be just bots again, and like
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
at
but
the end-
what if it's the same? It's like what if it's a scenario of like it's the guys who create the antivirus, the ones who also create the viruses. You know what I'm saying? Because if there are no viruses, no one would buy an antivirus. You know what I'm saying? It's like what make okay, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying that people who own funeral parlors are killing people, so that there's going to be a few. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's like that. It creates the demand, and without the demand, there is no industry.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's like, but I'm not saying we're just being pessimist, not skeptics here. We're just being, because like I said, I've been to a casino. All right, I just don't have that gambling tick within me, like where, and I think a lot of it stems from ambition. I don't think like when somebody says, "Uy,
Rod,
so,
Rod.
right? Uy, so garulyan." No,
You
I
saying
think that
this?
person has.
Hey, Rod, you saying this right now?
Yeah.
You better not buy that character, because if you do, man, I mean, you're like, oh man,
Dude,
I
Ice,
don't go to
Ice,
casinos. I don't have that
Ice.
gambling
I
in
am
me. And then
I
you buy
am
this character for
unemployed. I
70,000
am
pesos.
unemployed. I play
Kidding
video
me?
games all day. My wifey's giving me that look already, like get off the freaking couch. I have to have a valid reason.
But
I gotta
Rod,
earn some money while doing my thing, right? You know what I'm
but
saying? Like,
yeah,
come
Right,
on, if
Rod,
bags,
Axie's the way,
bags.
I'll do it.
what Rod, what
If
you
there's a
can
game is
find.
Wala
playing
bang,
the same character all
wala
the
bang
time,
budget
please tell me.
character.
No, there's
Wala
what we
bang
call
budget.
scholarship program for Axie. So there are people who are willing to actually, give the character to you, and they take a percentage, I believe.
Right. Ice Lucero,
Man, come on.
Axie team si Rod, atik-atik. Like I said,
Dude.
bags, if you're listening, if he's playing a game with the same character over and over again, that should really, really, like,
ML naman to, babe.
like raise your suspicion. All right.
Bakit
I
ba't
mean,
may check dumating? Ano yung
next
check
question should be, hey, honey, how much is that character? How much does that character cost? Huh?
That's why you keep playing so that you can, get your capital back. After that, then you're already earning. It's the same thing with anything. You investing. You try to beat your capital.
I mean, we're not gonna rain on people's parade here. At the end of the
Of course,
day, it's your
yeah.
money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
see,
do what you
here's the
gotta
thing.
do.
True.
If it works for you, if it works for you, we're not gonna rain on
Hey,
your
I know.
parade as
Don't-
much as
don't
we
get
don't
me
want people to
wrong.
rain on our parade.
But I think this is going to be a thriving industry. There are more and more play to
Axie?
earn games through
Ilang teams ka na, Minco? Ang
cryptocurrency.
Axie mo?
I
Ilang
don't
teams
You
ka
know,
meron sa Axie?
What
Come
I-
on!
But Minko, here's the thing. Minko, here's the thing. It's like I don't know if it's related to Bitcoin or anything else of that sort, but it's the same thing with anything else because this is not like it's not like you buy soft drinks and that's the product and you get it, you pay, you get the product, right? This is something that thrives on numbers, So, for example, if I invested my money on this sort of game that earns money or this cryptocurrency or whatever, to strengthen that investment of mine, I have to get more of my friends into it.
Correct.
Because that's gonna strengthen it.
You're creating
it's like
the belief system.
exactly. But in truth, it's just a freaking
How can I
program.
believe
It's
in
just
something
there.
that I don't see? If
Okay,
they
I
say
know.
that,
I know.
Let me
That's what
ask
I'm
you.
saying. It's
Wait,
like
let
so
me
so
ask
so
you
everybody
first.
who's invested in it
Coffee
will always
mocha.
encourage you.
You can see the
Will
coffee
always
mocha inside. That's a coffee mocha right there.
Yeah, but let me
I'm
ask
drinking
you.
it right
Let me
now.
ask you, Rod. Do you have a passbook or a BPI or a bank app?
not BPI, Metro.
Metro. You see the amount
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
But if he
Hopefully,
goes to
I
an
think-
Is
ATM
that-
machine and he types in the PIN code, the money comes out.
Yeah, that's the
what
thing.
happens.
you had to execute the trade via the ATM, and that's the thing with crypto. You have to then trade it for USD or whatever. By the way, 2 days ago, a country, El Salvador, just made it a legal tender. Now you can go to McDonald's and buy fries, burger with Bitcoin.
With nothing,
First country.
I want to buy McDonald's. Where's your money?
but that's not really I mean, for me at this time, like I have no plans of going to El Salvador, so maybe I'm not like jumping on the bandwagon yet. But what I'm saying here is I have nothing against it. I'm totally like, I mean, it's all cool, whatever, I mean, money, man, like what my mom said, like the money might as well be shells or rocks. If it is accepted as an exchange for goods, why not?
But it was.
Now,
That's
my-
the thing.
my only fear here, my only fear here is the possibility and the reality of manipulation, because I'm not a programmer. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can't literally say that it's impossible to hack these things. Like I heard of a guy who like accidentally like threw away or forgot the password or whatever the heck it was for his like Bitcoin account. You know that, right?
Yes,
like
yes.
millions. Like so, I mean, it's like I don't even do online banking, dude, because I'm that paranoid. I'm literally like I don't do online banking. Like there was one time I opened a PayPal account. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to connect my card to PayPal, because I don't have any money inside my PayPal because I don't do online work at the time or at this time, whatever. And then I got nervous because like all of a sudden there was a charge from Spotify of like 120 pesos or something. I freaked. So I'm like, I immediately like took out my card from its association with the PayPal account.
Did you ever ask yourself?
I made a purchase with my
actually
PayPal,
subscribe?
but I don't have any more money. What? No, I
Did
think
you
I
ever
did
ask
for my
yourself if
wifey,
you-
but I forgot. I think no. Here's what happened. I subscribed it for my wifey, but she still had the premium account ongoing. So when it expired, that's when they charged it, which was later. So I'm like, I don't like. Usually we associate it with like, okay, I subscribe now, it will appear tonight, right? But this was like like an early renewal, So when the renewal took place, it was like a couple of weeks after. So I was like, what was I charged? I forgot about it. Like I forgot that I
Right.
made that
It doesn't
purchase.
appear
But
immediately.
I know. But I'm just saying the bottom line here is I'm praning when it comes to online stuff. I am very praning when it comes to online because I'm not like my wife who has a notebook and writes everything down. I literally like rely on, and now I've become more vigilant about it because, like I said, if you put
Pero
it out
ilan ang
there,
Axie
it's there.
characters mo?
It's a team. It's a team.
But
All I can say is I started when I was still cheap.
Akala ko matitrick ko eh. All right, so I can't trick him. All right, anyway.
Kung nasa 30,000 pa yun, nag-start now. Almost.
It's gonna be a thriving industry, and I totally understand you, Rod. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about the belief system. What I always explain is simply like this: I have Philippine peso. I go to Japan. Let's say I go to a ramen house. Will they accept that Philippine peso as a form of
No,
payment?
they won't.
Exactly,
No.
because
They
they don't
exchange
believe
it.
in that currency.
No,
That's the
because
thing.
it's not their currency. Because
But
it's
that's
not
the thing. Yeah, exactly. I mean, in technical terms, that's correct. That's not their currency because they don't believe in that currency. So that's the same thing with
Okay,
crypto.
so
There's
Yeah, they
yeah,
don't.
but that's like when you give that reasoning though, you're just basically saying it's an alternative form of currency. You're not so if that's the only reason, I don't really need an alternative form of currency. I'll just buy
Right.
dollars
I'm
or
happy with my
my money
peso. I'm
exchange,
happy with my
right?
dollars. Right.
I'm just having an exchange. But
my actual money.
that's not the thing here. The draw here is that people make money. Like you know what I'm saying? Like there's wealth involved, there's income involved. That's what I'm talking
Exactly.
about. It's not
Yeah.
like it's just an alternative because I can do that with my credit card. Like you can pay with your credit card. It doesn't have to be cash right away. It's an alternative form of
So
currency in a way,
cryptocurrency, we have to define it. Cryptocurrency is not actually a direct fiat or direct currency. Right now, the situation or the scenario is it's an investment instrument. You can invest on it.
Yeah.
It has value per dollar. It's like a barrel of oil. It's like gold, basically, but digitized.
Yeah. Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, what if I wake up tomorrow morning and they say it's crashed? Like it's done. Like boom.
It's
It's funny how you put it like, oh, it's like gold and it's like barrel of oil, digital.
No. Like what I'm saying is like what if like
I can get wet with that
See,
oil.
that was a bit.
who do I let me ask you, who do I go after? Like who do I go after?
That's the thing now. Because of the term decentralized, there's no one governing body.
You can't
That's
go
what
after
I'm saying.
anybody. The tooth
Exactly.
fairy. You go after
Yeah.
the tooth fairy.
Exactly. Now,
That's
there's pros and cons there. You cannot go after. But as you know, you antagonize the banks, for example. They don't have control in the Bitcoin, for example. That's why the prices will go very high or very low. Because it's really decentralized. It isn't controlled by one form of government or by one bank or one institution. By the way, the creators of Bitcoin or creator, we still don't know who created it, is from Japan.
No, like
Yeah, that's true.
no. Like I've
Yes,
been
ma'am.
like the names like Japanese, but nobody traced that guy here.
Until
There's
now,
no
yeah.
such
Okay.
yeah,
So,
because
but
there's like
until now, there's
the
still
theory
no
was
clue.
like there's like a group of people who decided to like like make this like Bitcoin
Exactly.
thing and
Yeah.
like they came up with that name. But yeah, I've been following this, so it's kind of like that's why it's confusing. Because I mean, if like with money, you can see money, you can hold money, and belief system,
Yeah.
whatever. And you're
I'm
telling
not
me like,
I'm
yeah,
not
back then
for
rocks
or against it, I'm not for or against it because I have a friend in Australia and he's strongly like, dude, Bitcoin. Like he put in like I think 7,000 Australian dollars and now it's like 27,000 Australian dollars or whatever. And then I have friends who follow it religiously and all that stuff. And I'm like, hey man, if that floats your boat and as long as you don't have to mortgage your house, if all
Yeah,
else
exactly.
fails, that's freaking fine. It's freaking fine. But I mean, like I said, I'm just like for me, I never really took a plunge with anything major. My biggest plunge is this house. Like basically, not this house. But I mean,
That's a nice house. Nice grand
yeah,
piano.
This
like the
house.
piano, the fireplace.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
It's very
I
nice. Very nice.
wish. I wish.
But no, I mean,
come on,
Mingo
right? I mean,
was saying earlier that back then the belief system, like, oh yeah, when you said like, oh, we could just like trade for rocks or whatever, and Mingo was like, yeah, that before it happened. I know.
like-
Where are
like-
they now?
like-
Are we
like-
still trading rocks?
No,
Are we
but
still
that's the
trading
thing. It
silks?
improves, right? Before you transition to a next currency, there's always going to be exchange. Rod, like few months ago or a few weeks ago, you thought that all money is pegged to the gold. That's no longer happening. Right?
yeah.
So
You
it's
just
now
open my eyes
transitioning.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So now it
Yeah.
transitions. Now, who dictates that the value of $1 is $1 if it's no longer pegged to gold? That's where the regulations come in. That's where the central
Yeah.
banks come in. They try to make the, you know, the game fair. That's why I don't want to antagonize banks. That's the main
I mean,
reason.
see, here's the thing. I know, right? It's like you're telling me, like, oh, you hate the banks. It's like, oh, you hate these robbers. You should
But you're
love the
not.
rapists. It's like you're saying all these things.
No,
I'm not saying that.
you're that's hyperbole. That's too much. That's
Yeah,
extreme.
yeah, yeah. No, all right, okay. But, you know what I'm saying, right? I'm not saying that they're all that, but I mean, it's like like, oh, would
Okay.
you cut off my leg or would you cut off my arm? It's the same thing.
It's just straight up question. Like, from a noob like myself, who I don't really follow the stock exchange. I don't really, but I do remember. I do remember my lola and my lola, because I remember we'd always get checks from PLDT and we would always get checks from RMC, the school, right? And apparently my lola and lola bought stocks there, and they were receiving checks, and it wasn't a large amount, but I would just open it and check it. And eventually, when my lola was still able, and before she passed away, she sold her shares. She would always attend like board, whatever meeting,
Yeah.
and she got tired of it, and she was whatever. And I would mention that to my wife, and my wife's like, sayang naman, but binenta, blah, 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 like the PLDT, ganyan, but binenta, because my mom used to be like a lawyer for PLDT, and I think she probably had a share or something, I don't know, but you would always get checks, not large amount, but it doesn't even share I don't even think it says the amount, it says the amount of the share, the value or whatever. And I'm like, my wife's like, and I'm like, I don't really follow this stuff, because if I had known, I probably would have just, I would ask for it to be turned over to me or something, but see, I'm a noob that way, and I think there's a reason why. Because first off, I probably don't have that tick in my system.
You have
So
that fear.
yeah, I don't think it's well, we all fear what we don't know, right? I think that's the
Yeah.
thing. We all fear what we don't know. But sometimes there are things that when you learn more about it, you fear it more. The more you learn about it, you fear it more because you're getting deeper into it, and now you see the good and the bad of it. Now it's like we're just ignorant. That's basically it. But what I like about you is that when you talk about it, you're not pushing anything down our throats, and you're just basically telling us about, like, this is the reality of it, and you're coming with a fresh perspective. You're young, you actually have knowledge, legit knowledge behind you, and like Ice and I, where it's like 99% both.
No, I mean, okay, yeah.
But we're so good at convincing people. You know what you're talking
it's like
about.
sort of his hobby. It's his hobby, like investing, like what you said. He doesn't have a family.
My question to
He
him,
can play
my
around
question to him is,
with how
what's
much
the
money he
bet-
can,
okay. How old are you, Ice?
throw
You're
around
40
and
plus, right?
invest.
I
Right.
thank God I'm still line of 4, so I'm still 40 plus. Now,
Mhm.
obviously, I would assume you give different tips or suggestions or options depending on the age bracket and the situation, the personal background of the person who is asking you for financial advice. So let's say people like us, the outlook for my industry is very bleak, and it seems like the competition is just getting stiffer. It's all YouTubers, vloggers, whatever, and the radio industry is just a different industry now than it was back then. It was like number 2 in terms of entertainment source to television. Now I don't know what number it is, because kids do their TikTok, they're just stars now. They don't need stars. People even go on Facebook and do this like DJ voiceover competition thing with another voiceover. Right?
Circle around what you're saying. You're actually experiencing now the democratization of information. Before it was by the radio, by the cable channels.
Good point.
Now you have YouTube
point.
content creators. Everyone has access. They can be their own.
Good
That's
point.
the
Good
essence
point.
of democratization. We're
Good
just
point.
giving.
I
you
learned to play the
opportunity.
guitar all over again the right way because of YouTube.
Exactly.
For free.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But now I feel bad for the guitar instructors who are no longer we don't have students anymore,
But
because
that's the
people are
thing.
giving away
We
lessons for free.
We have to innovate. We have to improve. For sure.
So my question to you,
Yeah.
my question to you is with your not like for us guys, Ice and I, what's the best thing that we can do with our money if we want it to serve us 10, 20 years down the line? Because we have young children, our kids are gonna grow up and their expense is gonna be different. And by that time,
he might not
I'm
live
already
that long, man.
I know, exactly.
It.
Like I'm not even like employed already, and like I'm unemployed, and I'm like still in my 40s, and my industry is already like a dying industry. Ice, at least, he's in a first world country. They have benefits there, so worst comes to worst, he's kind of. I mean, it's a different situation here, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in Canada. I'm not in the US. So I'm not in Japan. So it's a different situation. So for you, you being young and everything, your options are much broader. You can afford to take risk and everything. I can't. So, and I don't have the business savvy. My wife does. Now, right now, my plan is to just proceed with whatever my wife's doing, support her with that, and maybe contribute in a sense, and that becomes our main thing. Because the greatest gift that you can give to yourself is making a living out of what you love doing. I think,
Correct.
Exactly.
personally,
Passion.
Exactly.
right? That's the greatest gift you can give to yourself. That's better than retirement. You know what I'm saying? Because you're still busy, you're still active, you're still earning and doing what you want. People who retire, they're like looking for going to where am I going to go on a vacation? That means they stop doing what they don't want. Now they don't know what they want. They're stuck at home fighting each other with the spouses and all that stuff. But like for me, it's like that's my thing, because rather than me starting a business, because I want to do like my own sandwich thing. I also have like I want to do this like on air radio, like what Ice and I are doing right now. Like we kind of want to take this to the next level. We can invest in that. But in terms of really making money or letting our money work for us, what's the best case scenario? Is it the mutual fund? Is it bonds?
I can give two things, two tips for you, and maybe for the others who are a bit cautious in investing.
Younger.
I mean, yeah, not
We're
just
older,
younger,
yeah.
but really cautious.
Cautious. Okay.
So there's two things. Savings account. The savings account, you have very low interest, right? It's like really no interest at all. But we do have digital banks.
Nababawasan pa nga pag dormant.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, we now have digital banks in the Philippines. I myself, I'm a digital bank account holder. There are banks there. They
Is it
offer
BPI Direct?
No, it's ING and CIMB are the very
All right.
known right now. So their interest rate is at 4% per annum. So if you compare that to the typical bank, like with the passbook and all, that's really a lot. So for
Okay.
money that you need to spend immediately, but you want to keep in a bank account, try get a digital banking account. So how do you do that? Go to their websites. They usually have an app where you download. Then they create you create the account. You submit the
They're an
ID.
actual bank, right?
Yeah, they're actually regulated by BSP. So same thing. Insurance by PDIC of 500,000. They're fully regulated.
Minus the lines, minus the hassle,
Exactly.
minus the
Yes.
all that, right?
So
Okay.
the reason why they can give you a 4% interest, because they don't have a branch. They're all doing it
Right.
via
They,
app.
they don't pay other people to, like they
Exactly.
don't have
No
tellers.
relationship
They don't have,
managers.
yes. No relationship managers. No
They don't
bullshit
have
like that. Yeah.
monthly
See?
rentals for their banks.
All right.
Basically,
Okay.
so they have quite
Okay.
a very slim. So try that first. Digital banks, go get it. And then secondly, I would go with funds. If you don't really want to stress yourself with the charts, with the news, go for the funds. Like you have, I think, Rod, with you have a good relationship with your fund manager. I'll call it the fund manager now. The one who is telling you, if you don't need the money, don't pull it out. When she said that, I felt that she knew what she was doing it out. She knew what she was
Hey
doing.
man, Iceman took that the wrong way.
Yeah, looks like
Rod, don't pull it out. Don't pull it out.
I mean, just when you, dude, just when you say deposit, that has a different meaning already. Withdraw, deposit. I mean, those things mean differently to us.
I mean, I think it's just ice. I mean, us, we were like very serious, right?
Oh,
So-
right, that's right. Okay, go ahead.
I like the pull it out part. All right. Okay.
Okay, but first, my question is, when I open for this like virtual bank or online whatever bank account,
digital bank.
digital account, I mean, I just hope that they don't ask me to choose a character first. Like that's first.
No.
Choose your character.
No.
30,000, 70.
Choose your, what do you call those things?
Nasty characters.
Avatar.
Choose your
Avatar.
Your
avatar.
avatar. Okay, so all right, so the other one is the mutual now. The thing with the mutual though, it's like usually it's around 20 years, right? Or 10 years maturity or whatever.
Yeah.
And
10
then
years.
in
Mine's
5
10
years
years.
you can pull out a little bit, then you get this insurance aspect of it. And you did mention inflation earlier. So I'm
Yes.
thinking like, okay, pag sinabi kasi ngayon, like, okay, I'll pay like 100,000 a month, I mean a year, like, save 100,000 a year, put out 100,000 pesos a year in this thing. And then in how many years I can get like 2 million, 0.5 or 3 million, which is like more than whatever. But then you take inflation into account, right? You take inflation into account. I mean, they got to make money too, right? So they're using your money during this period where you can't use your money. They're letting it earn
Yeah,
for
actually,
themselves
they're
because
investing it.
they're
Yeah.
not doing that out of the good.
Exactly.
They're not doing that out of the goodness of their own
No,
heart.
they're
They're doing that
investing it.
because it's a
That's
business for
the whole
them.
point.
So they
Of
need your
course.
money. So don't touch your money because we're going to use it and make money off of it first. Now,
Correct.
here's the trick. Why don't I just use it myself and make money off of it my own?
And
You
they'll tell
can
you,
do.
be my
That's what I'm
guest.
doing.
Be my
That's what I'm
guest.
doing.
but the thing is, it's exactly where Iceman's purpose comes in. I don't get the insurance. And I think
Right. You don't get the
that's
insurance.
the bonus there.
Yes.
You get the
Yes.
insurance, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you get the
Yeah.
insurance.
You die
So,
tomorrow, boom,
you
your
know,
family's safe. They have a safety net.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So yeah, you can do it on your own. Let's take insurance out of the picture first. You can do it on your own. You can trade. There's really accessibility is very high. You can
How do
create
you withdraw money
online.
from a digital bank? Patrick's asking.
So this ING they have an ATM card that you can request,
Okay.
or you
Right.
can
So the
also wire
ATM is like either
transfer.
BankNet
Correct.
or it's the same
It's
thing.
I
Yeah, they're a
think there's
member of
no
that.
charge
Correct.
even. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Okay.
All
Then
right.
that's
It
good.
really operates like a
Awesome.
typical bank. So it's quite good. So yeah, you can do that for the funds. You can do your investments on your own. But like what I said, it depends on you. If you want to stress out with the charting, then go ahead. Just make
Is
sure
it
before
safe
you.
to invest in dollars? Is it safe to invest in dollars?
I would say not
Okay.
now.
You wouldn't?
Not
You
now.
wouldn't? You wouldn't?
Yeah, not
Okay.
now.
All right. All right.
If
I'll
you've
take
been
your word for it.
watching the news, they've been giving out this stimulus package, right? So there's more money
Yeah, yeah.
circulating in the economy, and like what I said in the last comment few episodes
If there's
ago, the
more.
more
Yeah.
the value of the money goes down. That's
Okay.
why dollar right now. That's why Bitcoin went all the way to 60,000 per one coin a few months ago, because
Yeah.
all the people who received their stimulus checks, what I heard in the US, they started investing in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But
What about
then,
guitars? What about like guitars? John, what about guitar? What if you invested in vintage guitars? Come on. I mean, like, dude, I'm not kidding. Like, you learn so much in YouTube. Like, dude, there's a Pokemon card that's worth like
uh,
freaking $10 million or something. Like, see,
that's
it.
if you would
How much?
consider
Well, there's a
act-
yeah.
if you actually look at that, they're banking on the uniqueness of the item.
Everyone's going crazy for basketball for sports cards. I
Correct.
have friends in Canada, man. They're in
Now
Walmart. People buy
this is
they
where
hoard sports
exactly.
cards. The problem
Yeah,
is that industry's gonna die. I
that's the
predict
thing.
it
Now
will.
I will make your mind twist a bit. There's this now new industry called the NFT. It's like a cousin of the cryptocurrency. NFT
Okay.
means non-fungible tokens, meaning it's a
Okay.
unique one. You can trade. So very good example, NBA cards. Now we have what we call NBA Top Shot. It's a digital video clip of the player. Basically, it's still
Yeah, yeah,
unique.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like what you said, yes, correct. The NBA cards are going to die soon. Actually, there's like art being sold with NFT, and it's really millions of dollars just one
You know,
NFT.
that's what happened to the comic book industry. When I was in high school, I was buying like the Dark Knight, Batman, Todd
Yeah,
McFarlane, Spider-Man, and my dad was always telling me like, "Why are you buying all that stuff? You're spending your allowance on money on comics. Who's gonna buy that?" I'm like, "No, I'm buying it because I like the artist. I'm buying it. I attended comic book conventions and would like keep them in a Mylar sleeve." And then years down the line, like maybe 5 years later, the comic book industry exploded. So there was Image Comics, there was Valiant, Todd McFarlane started his own, Marvel, had all these characters, and all these like independent comic studios open. So many collectibles. Now the problem was everybody was now selling collectors edition of their comics. Everything had a silver cover. Everything had a variant cover. Everything just like with cards. Everything's a holo cover. Everything's a jersey cover.
yeah, yeah,
Everything's a
exactly.
jersey card, a holo card. So what happened is, you know, people were just buying these things like the Michael Jordan Fleer rookie card. If you bought that back in 1984, you didn't know that was going to be worth freaking 20 million pesos today or whatever it's worth
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
right? You wouldn't know. You just bought it. So that's wherein the real value of it comes in, because people were not buying it because now the rich people are actually buying loads of it. So there's too much, there's too many, and
yeah,
and
yeah,
and
exactly.
when they release it as a collector's item, people will buy a lot. So now when you say, "Hey, I have a rare Zion Williamson rookie holo," oh, me too. I have 5 of those. I mean, where's the value?
But if you look
Right?
at the whole world, if it's just 5 and then the other one 6 out of all NBA cards, that's still unique. You know?
Yeah, but then
What's
Zion breaks his ankle, ends his
well,
career after
yeah,
3 seasons.
that's the
You know,
thing. There is industry to the uniqueness. Look at
And yeah,
tapos
the
so
usapan. Di ba the Luca
so,
card
so
was like what, 2 million? How much was the Luca card? Remember the
I think
Luca
2 million.
card that
Yeah,
they
yeah, just
that was $2 million
last
dollars,
year. Last year,
and
yeah,
Luke has
exactly,
only been playing what, 3 years? I
exactly,
mean,
yeah.
right.
I
Yun na
mean,
nga eh, di
right?
ba? I mean, right,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're not sure. No
It's
one's
like
sure.
it's like they're it's like they're putting value into something that hasn't even proven itself yet.
Okay, here's the thing.
Like, yeah,
Here's the thing.
I'll pay 2 million if Luca's a Hall of Famer already, but 2 million as a rookie? I mean, what if he only ends up playing 4 years and he becomes like,
Belief
a Sam Bowie or something,
belief system.
Belief system. I did exactly. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, Rod. Like, okay, Minko, he's got all this, like all these nice ideas and whatever about democratizing wealth and whatnot, and I agree with all of those. But at the end of the day, what I noticed was, yeah, that belief word. I mean, when you ask Chuck about like, oh, what business am I going to start? I mean, I'm thinking of I'm trying to think of a business, and then Chuck was like, dude, are you nuts? Are you crazy? You already have a business. Your wife has a business, and
Yeah,
your
yeah.
wife has passion for it, and she's actually
Yeah.
good at it. And
Yeah, and I'm
she
not
has
helping her.
right. So it's like maybe that's one of those things that if you just believe in
Yeah.
that, it might grow into
Yeah.
something, more than what
Yeah.
it's now. You know what I'm saying? Like for
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
it
yeah.
might not look, like anything, but I mean, give it
Le-
5, 6, 7 years if
Let
you
me ask
actually
you, I
support
said
her.
Minko. Let me ask you both.
Right.
If you could open your dream business, what would it be? It's something that you're passionate about, something that you, even if you don't earn very much, but it's something that you look forward to. Like, it's a store that you want to run, or it's a business. What business would it be? It doesn't have to be. It could be
Uh,
it could be an Amazon or whatever.
Auto
What would it
shop.
be
No,
for you,
just
me?
kidding. Yeah.
All right. See, auto
But
shop, like
No,
that's
I'm
that's
just
his
you're
kidding.
gonna
brother's,
compete.
like
You
business. I mean,
compete against GTRS. You don't stand a chance.
he can probably have
Right?
a branch or
GTRS.
something because that's their,
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
they like that.
Yeah, for
For you,
business,
what
I
would it
It's their
mean,
be?
passion.
A
for
bank?
business,
A bank? Probably
not
something
really.
like finance related.
It's I guess it's more on the education system. Um,
Right.
putting up a school
Yeah, I
maybe,
can see
and
him.
then you
Yeah,
have
all right. See, I can
a
see
We need
him
that.
being in
We
that
need that.
industry, right?
yeah, and
We
and
need
So,
that. We
and
need
not
that.
not just the typical curriculum, right? You also teach
right,
finance, maybe, or accounting, or
right.
technology, more advanced. So something like that. That it's more. The value is the impact that you bring to the society. It's no longer
Okay.
about the peso value. It's really awaking people's minds. Imagine if today someone opened an ING account, earns like 4% interest. I'm already happy because I made something, right? I helped
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah.
I help someone.
Rather than the how much interest he gets from just
All
regular
right.
bank. What
Okay,
about you,
we
Ice?
gotta
What
wrap this
business would
up.
you have?
What? Okay. All
No,
right.
no,
Okay. Here's the thing.
answer that first. Answer that first.
All
What
right.
business before you wrap it up?
Okay. Here's the
Hubo,
thing.
hubo, hubo.
You know what? To be honest, but well, I don't know, like OnlyFans. I mean, I can't. You know what I'm saying? If I can do OnlyFans, I would do it. If I have fans, I would do it. Yeah,
Share
yeah,
your account details.
or yeah, yeah. I mean, that was a joke, but yeah, if you think about it, like, well,
What
yeah. I mean, if I
what
only
if
have the
we
An app?
body,
Will
what
you
if
if
invest
I
in an
own,
app?
if what? No, no,
Will
no,
you
no.
invest in an
An
app? If
app.
somebody came up with a brilliant app and like I need a finance
I don't know.
like
See,
Justin
here's the
Timberlake's
thing.
role, like Napster, right? He was Napster, one of the
Yeah,
financiers of
here's the
Facebook.
thing. I don't
Remember? He was one
understand
of the guys.
about I don't understand anything about these things. So I cannot invest in these things. Even if it's like, even if you tell me that, oh, this is gonna be the next best thing, this is gonna be, this is gonna be big, you're gonna make a lot of money. But the
Yeah,
thing
we're
is,
same.
if I do
I'm the
not
same.
understand it, I am not gonna invest in it. I am not gonna give it time because I don't understand it. I don't know what it is. So no, I will
Yeah.
not. It's like, yeah, and if people will make money out of it, I mean, like, good for them because they
Good for them,
understand
man.
it. They know how it works, but me, I can't. So that's the thing. And yeah, John John keeps on saying like, let's go out for coffee. And that's the thing. People try to talk you into things,
See,
and
that's also maybe just one thing from my side. That's where I'm also personally struggling, because that's the thing. Because of this certain image, people think when I try to help them that there's always
There's
something
something in it for
hidden.
you.
no,
No,
no, there's
Yeah, yeah,
nothing. No,
yeah.
but
just
we like we've been talking for 2 hours. I know there's nothing in it for you. You're just like
Yeah,
trying to
he'll just PM
share
you later.
like
He'll
the
PM you.
gospel.
yeah.
you're
Send me
sharing the
Doge.
gospel.
Yes.
Not unless after this show you'd start emailing me or chatting me up and like, hey, Ice,
But if
open-minded ka ba? I mean,
anything,
that would
if
be a
we
different story,
accomplish
but you know,
if we accomplish anything by having Minko here, obviously it lends credibility to the topic. But I think it's just that it shows you that you have options, and
yeah,
when you have
that's what he was
options,
talking about for the past
then
2 hours.
you have a
Options.
better chance of finding something that's for you. Rather than like dalawang option
Right.
lang, pareho hindi for you. But you have to take one.
Exactly.
This time
But
you do have options. If you're a gamer, go with Axie. If you lose, just don't put your whole life savings
okay,
into it. If
okay.
you want to
Here's
do
the thing.
online
Here's the thing.
banking, go ahead. You know.
I haven't answered your question. What business
Yeah,
would
your
I
business. Your
want to
business.
be
Yeah,
in?
yeah, yeah. Go.
No, it's not really a business, but it's more of like a venture. I was like thinking, and like I said, that's why I was telling you like, oh, you better support Bags with what she's doing right now because it might grow into something
Yeah.
really big. With me, I was
Yeah,
actually
yeah, yeah.
thinking about like is when my sister came here last year. I don't know, that was 2 years ago, and she was like, she was doing all these things with her camera, and she's like she has a vlog or whatever.
Yeah,
But then
social media. Yeah.
she was she was talking to my wife and
She's
she's
a
like, why don't you
content
start a
creator.
vlog?
She's a
Yeah,
content
content
creator.
creator. So she was telling my wife, why
Yeah.
don't you become a content creator? With her Instagram and whatnot, just like nice posts there and whatever. And I mean, she has an eye for for pictures and whatever, and like for these. I mean, there's just something about her with like her taste and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
something about her as well. So I actually talked her into like, why don't we start? Like I'd be I'd be your cameraman. Like let's just do something that because she like I've been telling her like I was in radio and whatever, but radio was different. Radio was like you can't see someone. You know what I'm saying? It's like
But
you're
I
just
see
listening
you
to
in front of the camera, Ice. I don't see you behind the camera. You're the
no,
in front of camera type of guy.
no. Like yeah, I am, but doesn't mean I'm likable. She's likable. Like a lot of people like her. Like wherever she goes,
Dude,
she's likable.
Is Jake Paul likable? Is Jake Paul people
No.
watch his
Here's the
fights to
thing.
get his ass kicked? Mayweather's
Yeah,
his fights people watch because unlike people Trump was not like he won. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's
but
like,
I'm not an
remember,
all out
at,
asshole either. So that's the
at,
thing. I'm in the middle.
okay,
I'm
okay,
not
all
an
right, all right.
ass,
You have a
right?
point. You have a
So
point. You have a point.
if I can be like Jake Paul to be like an
Yeah,
actual like all out
yeah.
asshole, then I could probably do that. But
Yeah.
I
It's either
I
you're
can't do
Piolo
that.
or Richie the Horsey. You can't be in
Exactly.
between, right?
Exactly. But I'm in between, so I'm not making anything. I'm not getting any
Yeah,
attention
I got you,
because I can't
I
go all
got
the
you.
way, especially now that I'm working in public schools and I'm teaching elementary kids. I have to be careful in a way because I mean, I say a lot of things here and if some crazy person would just like, I mean, follow me and try to
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, he's
yeah.
saying all these
Yeah.
things and whatever, and like, oh, that's not
Yeah.
so good. I can get into trouble. So I can't go all the
Yeah.
way, like all out
Yeah.
asshole. And I
No,
am
no,
not that,
but if you're
that
gonna
super
pursue your
likable
dream
guy as
business, you
well.
have to let go of whatever else you have. You know what I'm saying? You got to go into it like full on. I
Dude,
think.
it's
I
like
mean, like
mortgaging my house. That's what you're telling me to do.
no, no,
Mortgage
no,
my
no,
house
no,
to buy
no.
a
That's why. That's
character.
why. That no, no,
That's what you're
no.
telling me right now.
That's why I said it's a dream. It's your dream business. It's like it's you can fantasize about it because it's not feasible yet at this time.
Dude, if
Like
I
what I'm
have
saying, like me. Dude, I've always been half foot in. Like I did hosting, right? Like I still
right.
consider myself a host, even if we don't have the event. But I'm just saying I'm half foot in. Like I don't really buy nice suits. I don't really like, I don't really like attend workshops about hostings. Like I'm just flying by the seat of my pants doing this and getting paid anyway. So but if I felt like I put my whole being into it, I don't know if I'll be more successful, but I'll definitely be better. You know what I'm saying? And I think the same thing with our show. Like we're just doing this. We're not getting paid for this thing. We're doing this because it's our passion.
True.
Now, can
That's
you
true.
imagine if we invested in a legit studio? If we have people doing the editing for if we were paying for the advertising for the show, if we marketed ourselves, I mean, if we really studied the audience, I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna, have a larger following, but I'm just saying at least it's gonna be better. So with you, it's like if you're half foot in, of course it's gonna be alanganin, man. But I think if we put all our being into it, like my wifey, she wakes up at 2 a.m. to bake.
Right.
Um,
Dude,
that's both
support her.
feet in, man.
Oh, you're supporting her. I know you're supporting her.
Dude,
but
the problem is I can wake up at 2 a.m. but not to bake, to check if my download on the PS5 is done already.
That's why you need
Wait,
to go
installed
to
that.
Axie.
Go.
You need to go Axie because you're a gamer.
Oh no! Don't say that. Don't say
he's
that. Don't say
pretending
that.
to be like, no, don't say that. Oh, pila na
Yeah.
to akong aksi team dito. Tanda ko na kaya.
Pachik na pachik.
No,
The
but
update.
That's all-
I tell you, this industry is going to thrive. There's going to be a lot
right.
more
I know.
coming
I
in this
mean,
space.
this
I don't
talk
doubt it. I don't doubt
has
it.
been an eye opener because yeah, I mean,
It is.
a
It has
a
been.
lot
Thank
of
you, Minko.
the things
Thank
that
you,
Minko has
Minko. I mean,
Thank
I
you
joined
so
in
much.
has been
late, but I
talking about
learned
the
so
past few
much.
hours makes a lot of sense. I mean, like all
Yeah.
these investments, all these available options out there, it's been democratized now. Like we have the technology, we have the
Exactly.
internet.
And that,
You can do a lot of things. You just have to be
yes,
informed, and
correct.
information has been democratized as well. So you
Correct.
just have to do your own research. But the thing
Now,
with
yeah,
us, we are
exactly.
dinosaurs. So it's kind of like, I mean, you know, that's why we're skeptics because we're
But
lazy
you
to
don't want to
research.
be dinosaurs because that will be extinct.
Yeah,
We
I
have
know.
to
Easy for
thrive,
you to say
you know?
you don't have two
Coco,
kids. I have
Coco.
a kid. I live in Japan. I need
Yeah, yeah.
my kid walks
Hey,
in the
hey,
morning to
Mingo.
go to
You're
school.
saying
I have to wake her up.
dinosaurs are going to be extinct? One of the highest grossing movies ever for a while was Jurassic
Jurassic
Park, in case you
Park.
forgot.
But all right, okay. But thanks a lot for your time. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
Had
it's
fun,
been,
had
it's
fun.
been an eye
Okay, Mingo,
opener.
where can they reach you? Where can they find you?
Yeah.
What can you offer and all that stuff?
I mean, I do have this I would say closed kind of trading sessions, a masterclass that I do on my own. Just send me a message on Facebook or in Messenger. It's really for free. What I intend there is to really give you different options that you have, and at the end of the day, whether you know or not, it's up to you how to utilize that information, how to
Hmm.
consume the information that you learned. So really, it's about democratizing wealth. And yeah, I do also, if you recall Erica a while ago, she also has a podcast where sometimes I pop up. It's the Real Talk. You can also check them on Facebook. So yeah,
Okay.
if you have
Yeah.
any
What's her
further
thing?
questions,
Like she has a podcast. What's her thing? What's her?
Yeah, what does
what's her?
Erica, what is it about? What's
Yeah.
her
Just maybe we
lifestyle?
can
What
have
is
her
it?
on the show as well. Like what
yeah, I can
lifestyle? What
ask her. Yeah,
like
it's
only
about
fans?
everything.
Only fans.
It's anything under the sun, basically.
All right. Okay.
Cool, cool.
Because
All right.
all right.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So I
Okay.
mean, if you guys, I'd be happy to help. Really just democratizing wealth. Again, there's nothing in it for me. I just want to help the Filipinos, to be financially aware. I'm not saying you're gonna be rich. You just need to be aware.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Miko, keep it up, all right? Because people in your age bracket and the younger kids right now, they have so many things. They have so many options of where to spend their money on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not realizing that they also have many options on how to save their money.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
So if you have options to spend, you better have options to save too, because you can't
Mhm.
spend if you don't have any savings.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's the bottom
exactly.
line there. And if you want to
Let's try
spend, then
let's try not live paycheck to paycheck, right? So because you
yes,
never know.
yes, yes.
So
Yes. Totoo yan, totoo yan. That was how I said I lived when we were DJs.
Right.
No, but I mean, no, I'm just I'm just saying it's like back then we were happy, and I think at the end of the day, sometimes ambition is good. Sometimes ambition can be, the end of you. And I think you have to put that in its right place, and you have to have the right
exactly.
dreams,
Yeah. Yeah.
dream high, but you be realistic.
Yeah.
Not at
It,
not
it,
not not at the expense of.
yeah, and it doesn't end with a dream. You have to work for it. You really have to work for
True,
it.
true,
Yeah.
Right.
true.
Okay, so
All right,
thanks a lot, Mr. Minco Domingo Jr. He's
thanks, man.
in, he's in the finance ID industry, but he's also like doing, like spreading the
He's
word about
unflappable.
democratizing wealth.
We
Right.
could
So he's,
shake him up. We were like all throwing all these things at him,
oh
and he's
yeah, of
like,
course.
sure, sure,
Well,
sure.
I don't know what your
And then
brother's reaction to this show is, but yeah, we'll find
He
out tomorrow.
commented a while ago. Actually, he commented a while ago.
Did
So
he?
yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
He's now would you agree, Rod? Is he the most or is he the best looking sibling among the Domingo brothers? What do you think?
It depends on your type. If you like the rugged, athletic type, go for the brother. Go for flip mode.
Flip mode?
If you like
Right?
the boy next
No,
door,
but but I have just to
intelligent,
make this
intellectual
on
type, go
on
with
the
me.
record because he's not here. I'm better in basketball.
What are you
Okay.
telling me that you're a better basketball player than him?
Yeah, yeah.
Miko, what's
But
your team? What's your team? What's your team?
right
What's your
now,
What's your
team?
team?
right now,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a LeBron fan. So
Okay. So you're in the same boat with your brother, though, right?
Yeah.
I
We're the
well,
same.
I have Atlanta Hawks also. Trey Young. Trey Young.
Okay.
Trey
All
Young.
right. All right. All right.
All
Gotcha. Gotcha.
right, okay.
Gotcha. They did great, man. He did that kid.
Yeah.
That kid. You know,
But
everybody
okay.
thought like everybody thought that Atlanta got the short end of the stick, but I guess not, right?
Yeah.
I guess not. No,
I,
it was a.
I
it was a
just
fair
hope
bit.
I just hope that flip mode, if he's ever gonna watch this, or if he was watching, I hope he wasn't like pataka na sandok. I hope he wasn't saying that. Like sus, Coco
No,
ka
I
talaga.
actually helped him also with his investments.
Well, yeah, well, I know that that was like what 20 years ago when he used to do that to you, but yeah, probably not now. I can tell. Like, yeah,
Are you on
were
the same
talking about
boat
a
as
lot of
your kuya? Are you on the same boat, like in terms of risk taking, or in terms of how you approach business, or he has a different approach? You have a different.
He has a
Well,
different
he already
approach.
has a business. He
Yeah,
already
he
has
has
a business.
a.
So, I mean, he's old school too. So, yeah, I
That's
can
true.
tell
That's
there's
true.
a bit of a difference.
Yeah.
But,
My
I mean,
the younger brother, Marco, is more aggressive than me. He's like into
hang on.
crypto.
What's Marco doing in the UK right now? Is
He's
he working
a
there?
yeah, he's an automotive engineer
Right.
currently. So
So
he's
he's
doing
not
his
in finance,
electronics.
right? He's like
No,
he's like in
he's
a
Totally
different
different
industry. All
industry.
right.
Totally.
yeah,
All right. Okay. 'Cause I was just like
But
wondering.
in line with your brother's business, right? In line with
yeah,
GTR, yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool,
Well,
cool.
anyways, thanks a lot for gracing us with
Thanks,
your presence,
thanks.
and
Had
Yeah,
fun.
thanks,
we'll be
man.
back on Saturday with Pinky, hopefully. And for those who joined us tonight, thanks a lot. And all right, I hope that you got something out of Minco stock for the last 2 hours. I hope you're not a
And
skeptic
choose your
as me and
characters
Rod.
wisely. All right.
Choose your characters wisely. Don't buy, don't buy the
It's the new
expensive ones
Masenso.
yet.
Choose your character wisely.
Start case at 10,000. Start case at 10,000. All
No,
right,
the
okay, so-
character in real life. Character in real life.
Character in real life. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. This has been Iceman.
Rod Rodriguez.
And of course, Minco, our guest tonight. Thank you. And we are out. Good night.